Welcome, everybody. This is a different trio than what you're used to seeing. We have a couple people who are jumping in later, and we have a couple people who are unfortunately not going to be making it today, but we are giving
Technically,
you...
this is how the after show ended, so...
True. You're used to seeing this. Normally, when me and Tesla start talking wrestling, then you'll see Black Girl Marvel screen go blank. So we're not doing... Wouldn't be proper. Wouldn't be proper.
I want to do, effects and stuff.
But welcome. We are now giving you the list that so many people have been wanting. We are giving you the top 10 movies of the 2000s.
I do not have my list near me at all. So
oh, you was kind of fun.
We are always professional. And we always come prepared.
I have my list.
So thank you. Mine's is... Why are you so analog? Why do you always write yours down?
Because normally when I'm writing mine down, I'm at work.
I write mine down.
Right, I'm at work. I was at work when I was writing. I was in my lunch break. I had an hour. So I was like, "Fuck it, why not?"
I'm a writer. I like to it's something about a pen and paper and writing it down. And then when I have it down, I'll type it up to see the typos and stuff like that. But it's just something about writing it down. It's just
Speaking of that, I
tried that. And then Arthur comes and reminds me, just say it on your phone.
I don't have an Arthur.
Me either. I gotta remind you something of lot after we get off the show, by the way.
All right.
But welcome. I am Kayos. That is JayTezla, and somewhere else, either to the left, right, up, or down, is the Black Girl Marvel.
Shout out to left, right, up, down.
There you go. Missing in action right now is Zero, who will be joining us later, and missing in action is Big Lou. We do have her list because
that's her
the
name.
Thing. That's the thing. If you don't want to be known by that, if you don't want to be known by that, you have to be on the show to say you don't want to be known by that.
You a whole kind of asshole for that one. You are.
Thank you. And that's why Zero is always Garth, because he's never on here also. So we're going to give you the list. We're going to be doing Lucia's list last because she does have a propensity to steal all the movies that we all want. So to avoid that this time, we will be doing her list dead last. First and foremost, I would like to take a serious note to talk real quick. Today is November 22nd when we're recording this. I was informed today the untimely passing of a good friend of mine, Steve Johnson. He was a great friend of this show. He was a great friend of my other podcast, Knockouts and Three Counts. He was a good friend. I actually only just talked to him yesterday because I have a group text between him, my best friend Kevin, and my best friend Brian. He was a huge movie fan. He's the person that nicknamed me the DC Sniper. So if you're listening in order of these podcast episodes, if you start hearing me referring to myself as the DC Sniper, I was christened that by Seth of my rants that I would tend to go on about the DC films.
DC comics.
In general. Yes.
Anybody?
Yes.
Just throw that up there. No disrespect.
Yes. No, that's what I was alluding to. But yes, so he was a good guy. Always supported me in everything I did. He was a really nice person. Huge fan of the show. Always loved listening to the show. He would hit me up about the show, ask me what we're doing next. It's a true loss. He will truly be missed, and he will be remembered. Also, look out for my other show, Knockouts and Three Counts. We are going to be doing something special to honor him. But I would just like to say, Seth, you are gone, but you are not forgotten, my friend.
Yes, and the one lesson I would say, we'll take out of this because we are coming for Thanksgiving very soon. Call your family, call your mom, call your dad, forget all the BS that you've had previous. This is the kind of year where families need to be together, need to be united. And Seth, we miss you, we love you, we will see you soon. You are gone, but you are not forgotten.
I would like to say, I would like to dedicate this episode to Seth because I think he was the number one person who loved our list, who would comment on our Facebook page about what list we should probably do next, or he would probably continue our conversation to add what his top 10 or top 5 is. So this episode is definitely dedicated to him because I think he would, I wanted to come out here and murder everybody's list. So I feel like he would have appreciated that. I really do. Yeah. So this episode is definitely dedicated to Steve.
So, so because Zero is going to be jumping on shortly, he'll just have to catch up. Because and ironically, I talked to him the other day, and he said because this list was really one that he loves the movies in this decade from 2000 2009. He said, "quote I'm coming for everybody's neck." So because of that, sorry that you're coming on late. So you're probably gonna have a few things stolen from you. So what we'll do is we'll go ladies first. We'll do Black Girl Marvel. We will do J round it out, and then we'll figure out the order when Zero drops in.
All right.
So Black Girl Marvel, what is your first film?
Okay, my first film is a 2008 film. Beautiful film.
This is your honorable mention, right?
Oh, are we doing
Yes.
honorable
Yeah, we're doing two honorable mentions and your top 10.
Okay, so should I just do my two, or should I do my first honorable
You can
mention?
do your two. You can do both of them.
Oh, okay. So my two honorable mentions are two films that they both make me cry for different reasons. I mean, kind of different reasons, but still the same. The first one is Frequency with Jim Caviezel.
Good pick. Good pick.
And a beautiful Andre Bauer is in that film.
Yes.
If you haven't seen Frequency, it's a great film about a young man who loses his father, grows up to be a cop.
Grows up to be Jesus.
Stop it. Grows up to be a cop, and through some
Chicanery.
But through some chicanery, some supernatural chicanery, he's able to contact his father via an old ham radio in the past. It's a great film. They made a TV show out of it that didn't do quite as well, but
I actually liked it. I liked it.
I admit that it wasn't bad. I just feel
I knew it was canceled when old girl started coming on Legends of Tomorrow. I'm like, it's canceled.
They couldn't finish her contract, so they was like, you go ahead and be on these episodes real quick.
We already got you in Vancouver, so
exactly. And my next pick, I forget what year this came out. I want to say this came out like 07, 05, 07, something like that. I have to go animated because animation is my thing, and it's Meet the Robinsons.
Whew.
Meet the Robinsons is one of my favorite Disney films.
Which one's that?
That's the film where a young boy, he's like an orphan. He can never get adopted because he's a little eccentric. And somebody from a family member from the past comes to a family member from the future comes to the past for his assistance. And he's not realizing that he's about to meet all his family because he eventually does get spoilers, he eventually does get adopted and stuff like that into this wonderful family. He builds his own family. I think it's a great message.
I can honestly say I have never heard of this film.
Oh my God. Okay.
That is a rarity. I'm looking it up now. This passed me by.
That's one of my favorite.
Sorry to this man. Sorry to this man.
Stop it. That's one of my favorite films. It's beautiful. The music, the humor is great. You know what I mean? It's in the vein of kind of like Shrekky with the humor, but it's really good. It's really good. I own it. If you want my login so you can watch it, you can. I love it so much. I love it.
We got Disney Plus. I might check this out. I might actually check this out now because I've never heard of this. So I'm like, it's wild. I mean, I don't know.
It's not a musical, so you don't have to worry about it. It's like people don't sing and stuff like that.
I appreciate that. But yeah, because of that recommendation, I will check this out within the next few days, and I will get back to you.
Please. And if you want, we can do a episode on my podcast.
That's how you do a promo. Black
Girl Marvel. Follow me. Anchor, Spotify, Google, Apple. Yeah.
YouTube. Hey, mine.
That's a lie.
Hey, it's on tape. I've been doing that way longer than you. Thank you.
No, you have not. I have photo evidence.
Tesla, who been doing that more? I knew he was going to say.
He gonna see his way out.
All right, I'm head up. JayTezla, what are your two honorable mentions for? I gotta say, this one is probably my favorite list because I have so many different types of films that I loved about this decade.
Real quick before you go though, I will say this decade is the sequels and trilogy decade because
for sure.
There's I was like, what is this? I was like, did these all come out within the same decade?
And then remember, this is before the superhero boom. Really.
Right. This is why
before that.
I get mad at people about Marvel and stuff like that, because people been doing trilogies and for the longest. Like, let's not even get into Lord of the Rings. But continue, Tess. Go ahead, Tess.
I still only remember seeing that once, and I don't remember anything about it.
I had to change my honorable mention because of what Zero said. I had a call with Zero where he said, "Hey, get ready, because I'm coming for blood with these with this list." So, like, you know what? In honor of that and Seath, I'm coming for blood too. So
this was really the decade. Like, me and Mark have talked about this before. Like, this decade, we knew we were gonna go at each other. Honestly, everybody go for everybody's neck for this one, because this one's gonna be fun, because this is really the last decade I really cared about. Last 2 decades are the ones I really care about the most.
I'm really glad you're happy now. My first pick is a 2008 film. My first pick is The Dark Knight.
I fucking hate you.
Weren't you supposed to do honorable mentions, or is that your honorable mention?
That's my first honorable mention.
Oh, okay.
Yes, amazing film.
That was gonna be my first pick, though.
I heard it coming. I was like, don't you dare. That's why I said honorable mentions. That's why I said honorable mentions first. My second pick.
I swear for Lord, I will get you back.
Yeah, you
One
will.
day.
But see, now I'm gonna make you happy. La, take your pick. I can choose Philosopher's Stone. I can choose Chamber of Secrets. I can choose Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, or Half-Blood Prince.
That was a good decade for his ass.
You hear me? Listen here. All those films came out the same time.
That was a good.
Sir, you can use any of those because they aren't on my list.
Really? Okay. I know. Lou probably had one of those. I figure you might not have it, but I know Lou probably does somewhere.
No, she does not.
She does not. List. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
okay, so I won't take that one. I'll take my backup. Ocean's 11.
That's nice.
Solid pick. I actually assumed Zero was gonna have that on his list, so that's why I didn't put it on mine.
I like that movie. I was mad 13 isn't in that time frame. I was like, because I like 13 more, but 11 is good.
I go 11, 13, 12.
13 has the funniest joke of all of them.
The end joke with the why don't you have some kids?
No, not that. The nose plays. The nose plays, man. Or even the Oprah scene. That was even funnier.
Yeah, that's when they got meta. That's when
I'm sorry. Okay, I will take 13. 13 came out in 07.
It did?
Yeah, 13 came out in 07.
What, 01, 04, 07?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So those are my two. The Dark Knight.
I hate you a lot.
And Ocean's 13.
I was really going to take that from you.
But honestly, I honestly assumed somebody was, because I've opened my fat mouth and I've actually said that is my favorite film. So I actually knew somebody was going to come for that. I didn't think somebody was going to be careless enough to throw that in their honorable mentions and not give that movie the fucking love it deserves. But okay.
Put it in the dungeon where it belongs.
Wow, he's mad. Sorry.
Don't you run from
this is the hard part. So many films I loved. All right, so my first honorable mention, and this is going all the way back to the year 2000. This is a film that I used to watch with my little cousin all the time. She made me watch this film with her all the time. I know all the words to the songs. I know all the routines. This movie is a nice little capsule of the early 2000s. It is Bring It On.
It's nice.
I have no shame.
That one coming.
Nice.
I love that movie. I grew up being a Kirsten Dunst fan. I love that movie. I rocks with the Rancho Cardin Toros and I rock with the Clovers. So Bring It On is just one of those movies I can, anytime it's on, I will throw it on, watch it from beginning to end. I know my spear fingers. I know all that jazz. It's the best one of the entire series too.
The other ones was straight ass. Like, they couldn't even do a sequel with the original people. Like,
which they really could now. I mean, honestly, if you want to give Gabrielle Union and Kirsten Dunst some work, just have a damn series of them doing it with their daughters.
Honestly, they can do. Honestly, I would like a sequel with them with uh um Gabrielle Union's character being like a university cheerleading
I'm with
coach,
that.
and then Kirsten Dunst.
BET.
Honestly, yeah, and then Kirsten Dunst's daughter wants to be on that squad, right?
Ooh, I like that. That writes itself. That's not bad.
Thrown on
And
that
then
squad.
you got so much. You got so much lore. You could bring in people from. You could have Hayden Panettiere come in for one episode. You got Solange another episode.
Yeah, Christina Milian come in. You could do some stuff. I'm just saying.
Damn, I forgot she was in one. My second honorable mention. Man, there's so many movies. I'm gonna go animated also. This movie is from I think it's 2001.
You know it's not anime, so you okay.
This movie actually started off a lot the big animation boom, really. I think like the second or third wave we're in, you know, you had the 90s Disney one, and that's Shrek.
Okay. Uh-oh.
I'm happy. I'm glad you took that one.
That's good.
Because had he come back and taken the one that I have, there have been words.
I mean, it's Shrek. I mean, you know Shrek. It's highly quotable. It has one of the best voice casts, in my opinion, of all time. Everybody was at the top of the game. I honestly, and the thing is, I just saw a meme about a few days ago when somebody said that, and they asked like, "What is your favorite line?" And it just starts spiraling on the status because it's like that movie has so many great lines. The Duloc song. I used to have that as my ringtone back in the day. So yeah, Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, John Lithgow. I mean, it spawned off a whole series. In my opinion, it's still the best one of that entire series because they were just trying something. So yeah, Shrek. That movie is just a great time capsule of animation back then for me before it became too Disney and pixelized. So we are now jumping into our top. I said what I said, and I said what I said. We're now jumping into our top 10s. Black Girl Marvel with the Black Girl attitude. What is your number 10?
These are not in any particular order. So shut up. You seem real triggered right now. But
he's missing his Dark Knight.
I will go. Hey, I didn't take it. I wanted to, but I didn't take it. I will go a step backwards then. I will say
90?
one of my ones is a 2005 classic, start of a trilogy, and that's Batman Begins.
Does not get enough love.
Because Batman Begins is a solid beginning to the origin in which we all already know. Like we all already know about this man. We already know, but it gave it a little bit some extra. It showed us him training. It showed him having a mentor. It showed him like not being like the top and how he became the top. And we never really got that before. You know, we always got parents died and now he on rooftops and we don't know that.
Jump cut. That's
you know what I mean? It was a real jump cut. So
pearls falling, star wipe.
Exactly. And then it was just like he's menacing on like buildings.
I love how he's menacing.
Menacing on buildings, and you're like, okay, how he learn how to punch? And this billionaire, how did he learn these things? Okay. But Batman Begins was like, all right, I'm gonna show you how his parents died. You already know. But then I'm gonna show you like how he's troubled and how he got out of that trouble and became what he became. And I enjoyed that. Plus, Christian Bale just brings a certain je ne sais quoi. I don't know what it is, but he just has something. And he is one of my favorite Batmans. I think Pattinson is coming for that seat, but right now Christian Bale is one of my favorite Batmans.
That movie has the funniest. It shouldn't be funny, but it is funny scene when he has the paperclip thing to Gordon's neck, and is telling him what's going on. Then disappears, jumps off the roof, and misses the landing so damn badly. Just boom.
See, to me, that's beauty because it shows that he's not solidified in what he's doing. Like,
but we've never seen a Batman property do that where he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fuck up." Wee! Nope.
But that's real though. But that's like to me that adds to the authenticity. Christopher Nolan, like to me, knocked that out of the park. Like You just ain't gonna train. You could train forever, but that don't mean you gonna like know exactly how to jump from rooftops and jump down. This stuff comes with training. Like you got.
I love that. I love the fact that he has to get used to being Bruce Wayne in that film. So when you see him talking to anybody else other than Alfred or Lucius, he's awkward as shit. Like when he first sees Rachel again, like he doesn't know what to say, and I'm like, that's Batman. That's Bruce Wayne. So it was fun to see.
It's like a reverse. It's like a reverse Superman in a sense, right? Because Clark acts as though he's like clumsy and all this other kind of stuff, but then as Superman he has confidence. And for me, it's kind of like the same thing. It's like he didn't know how to be himself. It's like Batman is only himself when he's Batman, and the illusion is Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean?
That movie was truly the beginning of really showing the masses. If you're into the comic books and the lore, you know this, but in reality, in that world, Batman is who he really is, and Bruce Wayne is the mask. That's what he has to try to force himself to be. He has to try to make himself look normal as Bruce Wayne, and that's the first film that ever really dove into that, because you would just see him being suave as Bruce Wayne and cracking wise as Batman.
That's true. My only gripe with that movie had nothing to do with the movie, is that the fact that The Dark Knight Rises is just a repeat of that movie. Like, note for note, is pretty much an exact repeat of that movie. Bruce Wayne's technology gets stolen by a villain, is used against the city to almost destroy the city. The person you didn't think was a villain turns out to be a villain.
And they knew who Bruce was the whole time, and they actually outsmarted him.
And that's the part that threw me. Why would you repeat The Dark Knight is not in my top 2 comic book movies, but that movie alone was different because it wasn't like Batman Begins. Batman Begins
because Heath Ledger died. That's the reason. His death threw out everything, because he was supposed to be in the third one. Mm-hmm. He was supposed to. They were going to continue the Joker thing, because
it was going to be the first time you saw a villain be in back-to-back movies and continue that story.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why Christopher Nolan said he didn't want to do it. Warner Brothers forced him to. They basically told him, if you don't do this, you're not going to get to do Interstellar.
And that was my confusion, because
he had to figure something out. He did the best he could.
Yeah, and before I do the next person, I just don't get why they didn't even mention him at all in the third movie. But that's
I think that's just out of respect, because
it's mention them.
It's like a Chadwick Boseman thing, like too. Like,
it ain't there. You can't
mention him.
You could have easily said Bane killed him.
But see, the thing is, that then doesn't do justice to that character, because and not to get too much into The Dark Knight, but the Joker won in that film. That's what makes that film so great. The Joker outsmarted him every single turn. He outsmarted him and he won. He turned him against the system, and he made him become the villain in the public's eyes. And to then just say, oh yeah, Bane went into Arkham and snapped his neck. It's like, that's a wet fart. Like, that's really.
Like, I'm telling you, his death changed the trajectory of what that third film was going to be in different ways. Mind you, I didn't mind The Dark Knight Rises. I think the reason why they call it The Dark Knight Rises is because they knew it was pretty much similar to the other one. Yeah. They was like, well, we're going to keep this thing rolling.
And then last thing, they do have one of the worst plot holes in the history of that trilogy. When Bruce gets out of the hole after just repairing his broken back, we're not even going to talk about that part. And then he's just in Gotham. Just there, just got there. It pops up at the right time too. I'm like,
literally a cut.
You had enough time to put the gasoline on the bridge too. Like people died while you were doing this.
It was like we know y'all can understand that he got there. Like, just know he got
that was some time. But that's the thing got me. Like when Gordon and them are walking out there, and then he says, "You'll never have to," and he doesn't. The flame goes. I'm like, you know, Bruce, they've probably been doing this all day. People have been dying while you've been lighting that gas, like you've been pouring that gasoline.
And making the image too.
And think about it. You need a scaffolding for that shit. Like that shit ain't easy. Like that was a big bat symbol.
I need y'all to chill. I
said that in the movie. I'm like, that's kind of big. Like, how do you do that by yourself? Alfred's too old to be getting up on scaffoldings like that, man. Like that ain't right.
y'all bringing real world thoughts into this film.
Okay.
When you know in the animated versions he be doing some of the weirdest stuff, and you be like, how he do it?
Yeah, good point. Good
So
point.
it's the same thing. But go ahead.
So my number 10, because I like having movies that do have a little bit of comedy in them, and I am a sucker for this movie. This movie, if it came on right now, I will stop what I'm doing and watch it. It is a Katherine Heigl film. It is 27 Dresses.
You are so precious.
I love that movie.
Tesla man, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm a fan of that film also, and that was real close to being on my list.
Dog, it's so good. It's a really good film.
I wouldn't have imagined.
As far as rom-coms go, it's pretty good.
You wouldn't imagine that being on my list?
No, that is you. Just know, whenever I get mad at you, right? Whenever I start to get mad at you because you done did some stupid shit, because you know you be doing some stupid shit. But just be like, either just say 27 Dresses or just show me a gif from it, and I'm gonna be like, I'm like, it's all good, Tez. Like that might be a cool way to just simplify some stuff.
After the entire year of podcasting together, now you two are really truly bonded on something, huh?
That movie is really, really good. Like I still think the fact that she was partying over her boss just for her sister to smooth the fuck come in and take that nigga, like, oh, she should. And the scene, like the revenge scene at the dinner was like,
oh god,
she's gonna burn this bitch to the ground.
Scorched earth. Oh god.
It's such a good movie. It has a great cast. I don't know anyone that would actually go through that and literally be the bridesmaid for 27 straight weddings and not be like
white people.
Well, it was some women of color in that thing too. So like,
no. But to be bridesmaid,
but
27. Come on,
you ain't gonna ask no sister to do that shit. She ain't gonna take that many sick days, PTO days.
I ain't got that many friends, and ain't none of my and a lot of my friends ain't get married like that. So plus, don't nobody like me like that. Ain't nobody asked me to be nothing for them.
But it's just it was a really good film. Yeah, I personally,
it's probably her second best film.
Yeah,
it's probably her second best.
I'm kind of mad out of all the films that are getting sequels. That film didn't get a sequel. Because Katherine Heigl did an interview with some of the cast members after, like, in the anniversary of the film, and was like, she had an idea how the film should go, where she's not going to get married and she has to find other bridesmaids, or her sister has to be the bridesmaid to her. So it was. I think it should.
I can see that, but then it's Katherine Heigl, man. She's I don't think too many people trying to get Katherine Heigl any more starring vehicles.
No offense to her, nothing like that. I don't know her from a can of paint. I can't really talk on the allegations that everybody talking about her. I mean, from the stuff I've heard her say, I can tell.
But it's either everybody else,
but she not really, to me, she's not leading lady material for me. That I want to be like.
It could be worse. She could be Isaiah Washington.
She's a pair. That's what she had. That's what
Isaiah Washington for me. As much as he's like the Twitter sniper or whatever you want to call himself or whatever, the Twitter killer or whatever you want to call himself, he's a fine actor though. He's a very compelling actor to watch.
He was the best actor in Romeo Must Die.
Stop it! I knew you.
Wait, hold on. Please tell me that's not. Please tell me that's not your number 10.
No, but that would have been one hell of a segue.
Because that came out in 2000.
I know it did, but it's not on my list. But go ahead. I knew he was gonna bring up that movie, dog. But go ahead.
You got to.
Well, you must die, dog.
All right. So my number 10. I think I'm gonna stick with the theme of comedy.
Okay.
It's so many. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it so nobody else does it. So it's a 2006 film. It is a Will Ferrell comedy, and it is Talladega Nights.
Nobody had that on their list.
The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
That movie so much.
I'm glad you did. No, I have other ones on my list. I was just getting this one out first. Yeah. To me, it's Will Ferrell's. It's in the top 5 Will Ferrell films, objectively. In my personal opinion, it's top 3. after Anchorman and Step Brothers when it comes to Will Ferrell films. It was actually the first film him and John C. Reilly starting together, which started a long relationship. Also, Adam McKay is the director of that film. He went on to do
John C. Reilly. I love him. I could do a whole podcast on John C. Reilly.
Honestly, he's a person that doesn't get his flowers enough because the guy has done drama, he's done comedy, he's been a leading man.
He does musicals. He was in Chicago and he killed that role.
Is talented. But yeah, so I'll continue. It's probably in my top 4 films that I quote the most ever. I mean, that film has so many lines. It came on TV about a year or 2 ago, and I started just taking little clips on Instagram, just showing funny lines, and I wound up actually uploading probably about 45 minutes of the film because it was just so many scenes back to back to back. I mean, you got the dinner scene where he's praying to small baby Jesus. He has his sons, Walker and Texas Ranger. It actually made NASCAR interesting for me, which was fun. You had young Amy Adams. You have Sacha Baron Cohen right off of Borat. You have late great Michael Clark Duncan. I mean, when you look at the cast of that film, even in just minor roles, that's a murderer's like hitting lineup of just great comedic actors who will go on to do a lot of great work throughout the 2000s and 2010s. So yeah, Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Nice. Who is
Black
that?
Girl Marvel, what is your next one?
I hear my echo, so who volume is kind of up or something? Anybody? Because I hear my echo sometimes. I hear Kayos's echo sometimes.
Could be Kayos.
Yeah, just blame me, huh?
He's adjusting like, yeah, it's definitely Kayos.
Oh yeah,
I was making sure mine wasn't messed up. Like it is on low. Okay, cool.
Okay. My next pick is I will go in the sense of comedy as well, and I will pick a Will Ferrell film. It might be one of 2 of Will Ferrell. I'm not gonna say I take that back. I'll say one of a handful of Will Ferrell films that I like, but this is hands down like my favorite Will Ferrell film because it's classic and it's amazing, and that's Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy.
I was actually on my list. I was gonna say that, but I'm like, somebody else is gonna say that. That's why I'll take Ricky Bobby.
Yes. To me, that movie, every quirky thing about Will Ferrell works in that film for me.
Agree.
Everything.
Are we boring you, Tesla?
Yeah. No, he's had a long day. Everything in that film.
He needs chalky milk in his moo.
He does. And on top of that too, it might have some of the best improvised moments in television history. Like some of the best improvised moments. And I feel like each character in that film was perfect in the role that they were in. And it's a hell of a cast though. You got Will Ferrell, Christina Applegate, Paul Rudd, Steve Carell.
Paul Rudd, man.
Paul Rudd is like 90% of the time. It works every time. All the 60. Thank you. 60% of the time. I always go up in numbers.
That Sex Panther is probably one of the greatest bits in any comedic film.
Oh my God. 60% of the time, it works every time.
It smells like Bigfoot's dick.
That's a classic film. And that's my next pick. Anchorman.
Ron Burgundy, honestly, is one of my all-time favorite film characters because the dude has just so much unearned ego.
Oh,
like, and it's just the shit that he just tries to bluster. Like, do you know what diversity is, Ron? Yes, I know what it is. It's an old wooden ship. Like that is not it, Ron. San Diego. It means a whale's vagina.
One of my favorite scenes is when his life is just all messed up, and he's like, I'm in a glass case of emotion.
Is that where that comes from?
Yes.
Okay, yes. I've been wondering for the longest time. I've been using it. I don't know what the fuck it came from.
Watch the scene before that with Jack Black. It is one of the best sight gags I've ever seen.
I'm in a glass.
And honestly, Steve Carell for me was like when you first watched that film, you already knew about Will Ferrell. You kind of knew about Paul Rudd because Clueless and some of the stuff he's done.
Mm-hmm.
You were getting to know Steve Carell, like you didn't really know you were getting to know him,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the simplest, most effective character in that. I love Leon. I love like his emotion of just.
Yeah, did you see that? Brick killed a guy. Yeah, Brick. By the way, you might want to seek help. You probably want it for murder.
He was like, I saw that. He killed it with a harpoon. Like he was like, a harpoon.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand.
And that's one of my favorite because they go back to the office like nothing's changed, and he's like,
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
Like, well, that escalated quickly. Like
that is one of the best punchlines ever.
It's one of the Christina Applegate, like the only, and I think I want to say, what's her name? From
Catherine Hahn.
Katherine Hahn, yeah, because she was in there too. She was like supporting, but Christina Applegate was the lead female, pretty much like the only female, and she still with all those dudes. She killed that role. She was funny in her own right. Like that's a classic film. I'll watch that. Like how you said you will watch it, like bring it on anytime it come on TV. I'll watch Anchorman like that. So
I will put Anchorman. The DVD is literally not ever too far from me. I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Mine's right here somewhere. I love it.
I'm probably looking at it right now. Yeah, so that's a great one. Tesla, what's your next one?
So I will also stay in the realm of comedy. And I will go to a movie that I love for many reasons. This comedian had 3 movies in this decade that I all love, but I love this movie because of all the scenes in this movie, and that is Head of State.
Okay.
The Bernie Mac scene where you first see him and he gets off the damn train and just starts smacking everybody out the goddamn way.
The last one.
And I still think this is the funniest gag in any movie where anyone will yell security and the nigga grab and just take it away.
That's probably the thing that's lasted the longest from that film, because there are people that probably don't know that film and would just yell security just like to get somebody to get it done. Like that is always outlast that.
That movie is hilarious to me, but it had an amazing cast.
Won't stop.
Chris Rock,
won't stop.
Bernie Mac, the scene where Bernie Mac and Chris are trying to get my man to debate and he won't show up, so they go to everything he does.
Can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
That movie is hilarious. But no, Robin Givens, Tamala Jones, Keith David, Ron Killens, Nate Dogg, Tracy Morgan, Jeff Jarrett was in this film for some weird reason. This movie has a bunch of it's an amazing movie. It talks about a lot of different topics. I think it came out right after Columbine, I want to say, and they put a Columbine joke in there. It's like, why am I hugging a white baby? Like, it has some great moments. I suggest you see this film.
That is good, and not too many people talk about that one too. People don't talk about Chris Rock that much. They really should.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta take Anchorman off since somebody took that. Fuck it, I'm gonna stay with comedy because this is probably my favorite comedic decade. This film came out in 2008. It is technically, I guess you could call it a spoof. It has one of the greatest casts I've ever heard of. It has Ben Stiller, Robert Downey Jr., Jack Black, Matthew McConaughey, Tom Cruise, Brandon T. Jackson, and it is Tropic Thunder.
Oh my God, I forgot about that fucking movie.
I haven't.
When I was thinking of this decade, whenever we do our decades list, the second I write down the decade, I try to go with the first 5 or 6 films that automatically come to my mind, and this was one of the ones that came in there. This movie is one of those highly quotable films. It's probably one of my top 10 most quotable films. It's a movie people still quote. I mean, you never go full retard. I'm the dude playing the dude. This guy's another dude. One of my favorite lines is not one of the highly said ones, but one of my favorite ones is Robert Downey Jr. He's like, man, please, I don't break character until I do the DVD commentary. And if you actually have the DVD of Tropic Thunder, and you listen to the cast, Robert Downey Jr., who is just the best, stays in character until they get to the actual end of the film, and then he cuts off the accent and really speaks in his real voice. He actually did not break character until they ended on the DVD. That's why Robert Downey Jr. gets away with being in blackface. That's why. And I was one of the people, I never took offense to that.
I wasn't offended, right? Because it wasn't like he was, because of the context of the film, it wasn't like he was like making a moniker of black people, right? It was like an actor going deep into his craft.
He's making fun of an actor.
To be a black man in a film that they were kind of like spoofing, making like, it wasn't like you were like hey, on the stage like I'm a black man, like you. It wasn't that. It was. But one of my favorite lines from that, it was like he was like Robert Downey Jr.'s like what do you mean you people? And then Brandon TJ's like, what do you mean?
What do you mean you people?
I was like, this is
no beautiful. Look in that same scene when he's talking to Ben Stiller. Hey man, got any tips? Huh? Got any tips? You more shredded than a julienne salad. And the spoofs they did of films right before the film actually starts. You got him and Robert Downey Jr. and Tobey Maguire playing gay priests.
Oh my God, yes.
Which I found out Robert actually got Tobey because they're best friends. He actually asked Tobey to be in that as a joke because they actually played lovers in the film Wonder Boys. So it's actually making fun of their real actual past films together. That film has, and honestly, I think that's Ben Stiller's best film. I was never a huge fan of the Meet the Fockers, Meet the Parents series. Zoolander was funny-ish to me. I didn't see the second one because it looked stupid. I think that is still the best thing that he's ever done. He directed it. I think that's the best thing he's ever done. And Tom Cruise was absolutely hilarious. That shows that Tom Cruise could stop doing action films right now and be a great comedic actor.
I agree.
Black Girl Marvel, what is your next one?
I have so many to choose from, you guys. I don't know what to do. I guess I'll go to a film that came out in 2002. I absolutely love this film. It's an action film. It's a Marvel film. And it is Blade 2. I love Blade 2.
You got it.
It's one of my favorites. I don't think so. He's like paying attention to something else.
Look at the Raiders Chiefs game. Sorry.
Yeah, he's not paying attention. He's like doing double. Now he's about to turn on the TV, and this is
Chiefs won. Don't worry.
This is totally disrespectful.
Don't matter to me. I had Joe Burrow and Drew Brees in my fantasy. I still got Lamar Jackson, but still.
A huge fan of Blade 2 because what's his name? Luke Goss is in it, and he plays the antagonist of the film, and I think he's one of my favorite actors. You could put him
what
in.
What else have we seen him in?
He was in Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. He played Prince Muada.
Anything else?
He is rarely outside of makeup. Like he's like rarely. He's done movies where he has, but that's why I said rarely. But he was to me, he was the highlight of Blade 2 for me. He was the highlight for me. So
Victory Formation.
I love Blade 2. It's still funny to me. It's a great sequel to the first one. The first one was a little darker than this one, but it was still dark. That third one, we're not gonna talk about that because they just went off the rails with that one. But I love Blade 2. And
we don't speak of that.
We don't. And Luke Goss is one of the and I like the fact that they had like a love interest for Blade, but it didn't overshadow like
Jennifer Beals. Who could be a vampire herself because she was in Flashdance in like 1983 and still looks like she's 20 something.
That's not her. That's not the same person.
No. The Jennifer in number 2 was Russian.
Yeah, that's not the same person. They do look similar, but that's not the same person.
No.
Well, she looks just like Jennifer Beals.
That's not the same person. But I love that they had like a love thing in there, but it didn't overshadow. It was very similar to the first one. Like he had like a little love interest, but it didn't overshadow like the whole film and like what he was doing, his relationship with Whistler, like all that jazz. So
yeah, this one had an amazing
young Norman Reedus,
Ron Perlman, Donnie Yen, Tony Curran. Like I will say the scene with Ron Perlman is the funniest scene where he first meets him, and he's gonna punk Blade, and he's smacking him with the actual blade, and then puts the blob on his head. It's like, you fuck with me, you even look at me the wrong way, I'm blowing you the fuck up. Or the scene where he walks into the sewer, it's like, you all have no idea who you're fucking with.
Yeah.
No, I love the scene. I love the scene after that when they're in like a party and shit, and Blade and him are looking at each other across the from the party, and he shows that he has like the thing on the scope on Blade, and Blade just takes it out. He's like beep beep beep, and you see his face go like. You see Blade smile like, yeah, nigga, I got you.
No, he had that big
like, just remember, anytime I got you.
And to me, it was a good like twist that Norman Reedus character was like on the other side, like he was.
I didn't trust him from jump because I honestly, I'm honestly still waiting for season 11 of The Walking Dead for him to just turn on every fucking buddy.
I'm dead.
You know what's crazy? I think that was Guillermo del Toro's first shot at a superhero movie, and then because he did Hellboy 2 years later.
Mm-hmm. That's what started him and Ron Perlman's working relationship.
Yeah,
so that's probably the best thing that came out of that film.
Yeah, I that was a good pick, La. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I honestly, I put money. I think that probably be in Zero's list.
Probably
that'll probably be on his list.
My next pick is probably gonna be on his list too.
What is it, Jason?
So my next pick has a small cast, but it is a theme that has been, I've seen him recently now. I've been trying to be done over and over again. This movie has Shia LaBeouf, Julianne Moore, Rosario Dawson, Anthony Mackie, Michael Chiklis, and Michelle Monaghan, and Billy Bob Thornton. And that movie is Eagle Eye.
I almost put that on my list because I thought you were going to have that. I was like, am I?
I honestly like that. I like that pick.
That movie from the jump, you're like, what's going on here? Like that movie is incredible. You don't know if the voice is evil or like an actual person or not. And then when they flip it, say like, oh no, it's an actual program. It's like, oh fuck. And the story gets more and more interesting. Like the scene that always catches me up is the scene in the store where I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Shia LaBeouf's character is a twin, and when he goes to the store, and the computer explains to them who they are and how they know it knows so much about them, and it's just reading them like a book. You can see that was like, okay, Shia LaBeouf has the ability to like do stuff that is super serious. So I love that film, and that could have been like that point, like, oh, he's gonna be this big action kind of star, and then we see what happened later.
They tried, and he fucked that up. They was trying,
but I feel like there's something going on in Hollywood that we don't know about, and when you get deep into that machine, something happens to you, and you have to like remove yourself. And he did that. He removed himself in a way. And then came back in his own way to the point that people are like, he's a great director, he's a great writer now. Like he did Honey Boy, he did Peanut Butter Falcon. Like, so he needed to step away. That boy been in the game since freaking Disney. He was a Disney kid. Like I think people forget that he was a Disney star. And you already know how, no offense to Disney, I love your films, but you do something to your people.
You do something to them kids, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pick. All right, so I'm gonna go animated this time. Mine is a 2004 Pixar film, and it is The Incredibles.
Nice.
I've talked about this film multiple times. I've talked about the sequel. The Incredibles is my favorite animated film of all time. That's including Aladdin, Little Mermaid, anything you want to list. It starts with Incredibles and the list goes down after them. I mean, it's, to me, one of my favorite superhero films. And I think it really is truly the best version of the Fantastic Four we've ever had on film. If Marvel wants to really just print money, they will make their next Fantastic Four rendition as close to The Incredibles as possible, because it truly had that family dynamic that has been missing from all their films. Great cast with Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter. You had Jason Lee. You have a lot of memorable characters.
Hold on. How are you going this far to this description and not bringing up the line?
I'm going to bring up the line if you
I'm
let
gonna
me.
say, like, if you don't bring that up first,
I'm going to bring up the line.
It's not even the
It's a
line.
segment. I'm gonna get to it.
He knocked out all the actors and forgot about Samuel L.
L.
Jackson.
fucking
If
Jackson.
you would let me finish, I was getting to that. That was my next point. Thank you both for the segue. Then you have the incomparable Samuel L. Jackson in one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen.
No, the realest scene in
and the fact that it was his real wife that he was acting against makes it all the more better.
That might be the
I am the greatest good you will ever
gonna get.
And the look on his face, like
in film history, though, animated, not animated wise, I feel like either one. That's like one of the
He's
greatest.
had at least 5 of those scenes in like the greatest scenes ever. But the fact that he was like, "Where's my?" Like, he said, "Where is my super suit?
Why do you need to know?"
Like the fact that you
helicopters just exploding in the background.
You see her.
You asking me? I'm a superhero. You see helicopters exploding and shit.
But hold on,
Help
the fact that
me
you
out.
couldn't see her, but you could hear her neck roll when she said that.
Not even that. You couldn't see her, but you could see her. You
Right.
Yes.
The
You knew
audible-
exactly what she looked like.
Know?
The audible was enough visual. The audio was enough visual.
The look on his face after she's like it's gonna be that time tonight. Like, you just know.
But you already knew, but you could tell
like he wants to get out of the house to possibly die. That's gonna be a better night than what he is about to have in that house.
But you knew by the way he said honey, he was looking for a minute. He was like, honey, like he already knew.
He knew
that
she took it.
He dragged out that honey, like honey, like he already knew. And I love it in Incredibles 2, they did a callback to that. Like they did that scene again. Like,
oh my God, when she was like, don't you even think about it.
Honestly, like that was the scene, like halfway through the movie when they show, I'm like, oh, he's got to do that. They got to do they have to call back to that. I mean, it's just, I mean, that honestly was one of those films when I first saw it that I'm like, this is a classic. Like this is a big deal. Like this is an important moment I'm watching right now.
I'm still waiting for a Frozen with them though. Disney, Pixar.
Man, they need to get on that.
They need to stop playing. They need to give me a Frozen film. They need to give me an origin story.
Give me a 5-episode Frozen miniseries on Disney Plus, man. Like that will get your viewers up.
They will have to
You
throw
you drop that in February, you won't get some views.
They got 73 million viewers, like subscribers this year.
They will have
just
to
the
throw an
Mandalorian
island at Samuel L. Jackson.
I think they're okay. But I would love a Frozen film though. I feel like that's a character that they kind of sleep on. They kind of sleep on in that film. You know what I mean? They kind of sleep on him. You made a very interesting character. Like
with a very charismatic actor that can do no wrong.
Exactly. He ain't cussing out once in that film.
Probably wanted to, but Black Girl Marvel, what is your next film?
I'm gonna go a little on the other side. I'm gonna go with a 2007 film by Robert Rodriguez. I'm a huge Robert Rodriguez fan. I mean, Spy Kids says it all, right? And I'm gonna go with a film called Death Proof. Is what I'm gonna go with.
Whew.
A beautiful film called Death Proof.
I am honestly surprised.
What?
I didn't think you were into feet like that.
I'm not, but if that's the only thing you're gonna take away from the film, I guess that's fine.
You got right.
Hey,
you got right.
They lingered on feet enough in that damn movie.
You're not right. You're not right. You're wrong.
That's fine. That's fine if that's, if you want to talk about feet, I got a couple of stories. But
no.
Death Proof.
Hey, that took a weird fucking turn, but continue.
Thank you. That's my it's my bread and butter is weird turns. But
Lord have mercy.
I love Death Proof. To me, that's, and I am above you too, so that's great. That's perfect. I'm above you now. That's like perfect. So, but I love Death Proof. It's like, One, it made you realize that what's my man name? Russell.
Kurt Russell. Wow, what's his name? Wow.
I got Russell. Relax. It was like I was like Johnny. It wasn't like I was way off the mark. But it just reminded you that Kurt Russell is like a really good actor. Like I think for a while, like before that film came out, it was like I want to say that kind of like researched like a little bit that like dude can act and he can still do some
One
stuff.
of those actors that will take like a 10-year hiatus, act in something, kick ass, and then just leave. Like just show up, kick ass, and leave.
Like I see y'all for Christmas for this Christmas movie I'm about to crank out with my wife.
I gotta make money to give the Kate Hudson's kids for Christmas, man. So
you know, like that's all I'm doing. But it was not only like an intriguing film, like how it was shot, how it was directed, the writing, but it was like in like an homage to like old school like films, and it showcased women in a good way. So I'm always down with that. Feet aside, it was very action written. Like, and I love that. I love that you had women on the forefront of like some action. Plus, Zoe Bell might be one of the greatest stunt women to ever.
Man, she is a bad ass.
She's been around for a minute. You hear me? Like, go back to Xena. She was crushing it on Xena. Like, she was Xena's double. Like she did a lot of Zoe Bell,
and she did a lot of Mila's stuff for the Resident Evil films.
So to have her,
Mila Jovovich look like a badass.
Exactly. So, but Mila still did some of her own stunts. Like, so, like I'm just saying though, like, but she cold. I like Zoe Bell, and they put her in the forefront of a film to show you that, okay, I can kick butt, but like I can also act. And a lot of the stunts she did on that car was without wires.
Yes, that was so dangerous.
I'm like,
but just because there are probably people yelling at the screen and yelling at their phone, that was actually a Tarantino film, not a Robert Rodriguez film. Robert Rodriguez did Planet Terror. Quentin Tarantino did Death Proof.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Sorry.
So
to me, they're synonymous with each other because
they were released. They were released together as Grindhouse. So I get it.
Yeah, my bad. Quentin Tarantino.
Sorry. So my next film.
Can he segue to that? Like, geez.
Oh, no, I segue to him.
Was I finished? No, I'm just playing. Go ahead. I'm just playing what you said.
My next film is one of my favorite films, actually. Favorite action thriller films. It is an Antoine Fuqua film. It stars Marky Mark. It is Shooter.
Okay.
Solid.
Mark Wahlberg, Michael Pena, Danny Glover, Kate Mara. An amazing film based on a book series, Point of Impact. Had a TV series that actually was pretty damn good.
That was a good TV series. I ain't gonna hold you up. That was pretty good.
I'm trying to remember the guy that was in what was his name? The guy that was in the house at the end of the film.
What, Shooter?
Yeah, the older guy that was the actual shooter himself. That's okay. I thought it was someone else. I'm sorry, but no, the movie itself was good. It's for anyone that hasn't seen it. First off, I don't know why you haven't seen it because it actually is one of the best films Mark Wahlberg's ever done. Like it outside of the Transformers films, it was the first movie like, oh, he's seriously a badass in this. But he was
a badass in The Big Hit.
Stop it.
But I mean, okay.
Or Transformers, like don't put that.
But like in Shooter, he was a badass. Like
he was a bigger badass in The Italian Job. Damn, I could have put that on my list.
You should have put that on your list.
That's a good film.
I was thinking about that movie too, but it was a really good film. I enjoy that film from top to bottom because even knowing the twist, it's still good to watch every time through. It's like, okay, you know what's gonna happen, but to see it happen. And the fact that he was on his own. He was like, look, dude, I don't want to be involved with nobody. And they drug his ass out. That's what happens when you go knock on the devil's door. Someone's gonna answer you eventually.
True story.
And the end scene where they think they've won and he gets exonerated from the crime, and he's like, oh, you think you niggas just gonna leave scot-free? Oh no, I'm going to kill you. Then walks down the fucking mountain, gets in the car, and drives the fuck off. Like, okay, that's kind of gangster. Not gonna lie.
I'm actually going to list an actual film that Quentin Tarantino directed. It
That's so damn
is
bold.
Kill Bill Volume 1.
Oh wow!
Volume 1, baby.
Do you like Volume 2?
I love the story and too. Like I love it fleshes everything out. But if I can only pick one of them to watch, I'm watching The Bride's proper massacre. Like
I think 2 had a better fight scene though. 2 had better fight scenes.
It's better than her going versus the crazy 88s.
The fight in the trailer was way better. It was way more. It was way
a
more
good
punishing.
fight scene, but the fight scene versus the crazy 88s that's the best sword fight in the history of film. That anytime that movie's on, that is the part I watch because that is a long ass movie and I can't devote that much time to watching the movie. But I make sure to come back when they're going to that part. I mean, it's a long fucking movie, man. It's like 3 hours just for that one. It's a long fucking.
What, the first one?
I love Quentin, but he's long-winded as shit.
You like feet too,
huh?
You like feet?
How the tables they have turned.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
but that movie is really good.
That's Uma Thurman's best movie. I mean, that's probably in the top 3 Quentin Tarantino films. It's an amazing. I mean, he really paid a lot of respect and homages to every genre in that film. I mean, hell, he even has a great anime sequence when you're talking about Oshi Ren's backstory, and they just completely go and basically be an anime. I mean, that if you could have had that as like an 8-minute short film, and that probably would have won an Oscar on its own. You know, just being a great short film, and it's completely.
But also, he gives homage to old school samurai movie, old school kung fu movies, and anime movies. In the like right after that, when Oren and the bride are talking before the fight even starts, and you don't see the crazy 88. All you hear is the bikes outside the actual shop. You hear them revving. It's like, oh fuck.
And I love and right with that part, I love it. She's like, "Did you really, silly rabbit? Did you really think it was gonna be that easy?" And the way Uma Thurman delivers that line is beautiful. She's like, "You know what? Yeah, I kind of did." Like she really was not ready for all that shit, but she still killed everybody.
Yeah.
And that movie that movie still has one of the funnier lines in the movie. It's like, all of you can leave, but leave your body parts except for you. You stay right where the fuck you are. And the fact that she stayed, like,
not even that, she said leave all your body parts because they belong to me. Like, she said they belong to me.
She pulled shakes up like your soul is mine.
Not even that. She pulled up what's his name, Pai Mei, because Pai Mei did that to her when she tried to hit him with that brick in training. He was like, this arm belongs to me. And if you watch this film,
my man who goes,
yep, who goes like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my man. That's my man from the police captain from Detective Pikachu. I believe that's him.
Oh wait, no, is that him?
That's him. That's him in makeup.
Really?
I believe that's him.
No, there's no way.
That's crazy.
That's mm-hmm.
I mean, and then I'm a sucker for a nice tracking shot.
Uh-huh.
I heard that. I'm a sucker for a tracking shot, and the scene right when it starts off the battle with the crazy 88s in the Benihana type place, they actually had to design it specifically for the camera shot because they go into the ladies' room, then they go out, up and above, show you the entire layout of the place, and then come back down when the bride walks out. It's one long tracking shot, and they actually had to completely build that place. They couldn't shoot it anywhere because of where they wanted to do it. You couldn't have any roofs. And the Steadicam operator, I think they only got like a couple takes because he was so tired because he's controlling the Steadicam, getting off the crane, and then walking with the Steadicam so it doesn't break the immersion. It is an amazing piece of cinematography.
And that movie has a lot of like Easter eggy type stuff within its own stuff. Because like, what does Oren say? I think Oren says like it'll take me 5 minutes to beat her, and if you time it, she beats her at 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Then
One of my favorite
volume,
ones is the
then in
Kaboom.
volume 2, when old girl Daryl Hannah, because Daryl Hannah killed that role, she was
The
like,
whistling.
no. She was like, I'm the one who killed your master, right? And then when the bride or Beatrix, whatever you want to call her, when she plucks her eye out, she plucks her eye out with the same hand that Pai Mei said was now his hand. So she pretty much got retribution for her master with his hand. I was like, yo, Quentin, why you this dope? I was like, why you this dope?
No. Okay. So the guy who was
so who is he?
The master is Gordon Liu. But he was also the leader in the Crazy 88. The guy with the mask.
Okay, that's what it is. That's
who he is.
Thank you.
Yeah, the guy you're thinking of who was Hanzo, that's Sonny Chiba, and the guy who was in Detective Pikachu was also in Inception. That's Ken Watanabe.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. He was my man. He was the lead dude. I knew it was a correlation somewhere. So thank you for that. Thank you.
But he's 69 years old right now. That movie wasn't shot long ago, so he had to be in his 50s when that movie was shot. So the fact that he was still doing,
people are very like durable.
But the fact that he was like, because he's a stunt double as well. The fact that he was doing his own stunts probably in those scenes against arguably someone who isn't probably trained in martial arts, but like that movie was amazing, and the fact that you couldn't tell it was him. Like I didn't know it just now. Like he was the guy in the mask, but he was also the master. You can't tell by looking at them. But then again, I think the master shot that they shot through a filter because like it looks different compared to the actual rest of the movie. Dog,
I'm dead.
That's the only reason I want a beer. Just gotta do that. Just
it's open and it's long, and he'd be like, and he put it behind his shoulder. It's
Black
so
Girl
long.
Marvel. What is your next film?
I'm going to say with the Grindhouse films and actually talk about a Robert Rodriguez director film, even though it's produced by his studio. So but honestly, I'll be real truthful with you. The Grindhouse film, I'm always like, those are Robert Rodriguez films. Like, I'll be so honest with you because I feel like it's shot like Robert Rodriguez shoots films. Like it's very dark, it's gritty, and as great as a director as Quentin is, his stuff isn't really as dark as Robert, so I always just equate that together. So my bad if people get mad at me, my bad. But I've been doing that since the beginning of time. So but I'm gonna go with Planet Terror, which also came out.
Really? So both of the Grindhouse films are in your top 10.
I'm not surprised.
The way that I'm judging these is stuff because I was looking at the list and I was like, yo, a lot of my favorite stuff came out in this decade, like a lot of the stuff, but I was thinking like, how can I narrow it down? I was like, I have to put on my list things that I watched all the time, right? And when I saw the trailers for like these Grindhouse films and how they were like, to like old school like double feature films and stuff like that, I was like, yo, this is nuts. And then when I saw it, I got the double feature on DVD. Like I was like obsessed with it. So
and then the trailers they have before those films too.
Before those films, yep.
Hobo with a shotgun. That's and a machete. Like that's how they became films. Were from those fake trailers, and people are like, wait, Danny Trejo as a Mexican assassin? I want to see this film.
Exactly.
You get the machete movies.
And so Planet Terror is one of my favorites because it's so good and it's so weird. And it takes you on a journey that you didn't expect to go. Like you got Fergie in that film, you got Rose McGowan in that film. Stop. I enjoyed her in the film. Like don't get me wrong.
A one-legged girl with a machine gun on the other leg will always make me go see a film.
And listen, and I'm gonna be so like honest with people. Like if you want to get into the mechanics of how that's possible, we're not gonna do that. We just gonna take the film for what it is.
She got a shotgun. She got a machine gun on her leg. I'm with it. I'm with it.
Exactly. And we're going to enjoy it. I mean, Josh Brolin was in that film.
He was weird as shit in that movie too.
Man, Bruce Willis was in that film. Naveen Andrews was in that film. I love Naveen. He ain't really in a lot of stuff nowadays. But also, but I love it. I love like these weird like films because one of my favorite. If I go back to Death Proof real quick, one of my favorite scenes from Death Proof And because I should have remembered it's a Quentin Tarantino film because he has a thing about music and dancing in his films.
Oh yeah.
And it's that bar scene.
The lap dance.
Where old girl is giving him like a lap dance and like how she was dancing, and I was just like, I appreciate how he appreciates like women, movement, their body. Like he showcases everything. I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind dancing in a Quentin Tarantino film. I was like, I wouldn't mind because I feel like he wouldn't disrespect me or disrespect stop in a Quentin Tarantino film. So like that's one of my favorites. Plus, you didn't know where that film was going. You was like, okay, these bras in a bar having a good time, and then my man just murders.
My only issue about Death Proof is, and this is gonna come off weird, but I don't care. It's a lot of foreplay. It's a lot of foreplay for that because I mean, I've timed it. It's like 29 minutes before they get to the first step. Like it's I mean, granted, that scene is great when Rose McGowan's in the car. Going back to Death Proof real quick, when Rose McGowan's in the car with Stuntman Mike, and he lets her know that he's not taking her where she wants to go, right before he kills her, like that let me know. I'm like, Quentin Tarantino could probably do a great horror film because the suspense in there is really great. And then Planet Terror was, it was a good trashy B movie, type thing like The Blob or some shit. So it was really good.
I love it. So those are that's my.
I'm really shocked at that. I'm really shocked.
That's my fifth. I'm happy I can.
JayTezla, you look perplexed. Are you okay over there?
I'm good. I'm looking a little facts about my next pick. So my next pick stars a Wayne State alum. My next pick is, and I'm glad. Right. I'm kind of glad that La brought up. Wow, I can't stand her. My next pick actually stars
a warrior.
No, my next pick actually is the original to the movie that La brought up, which is Hellboy.
Okay.
Not surprised.
Hellboy has an amazing cast. Ron Perlman.
Wayne State alum.
No. Jeffrey Tambor actually is.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Awkward. That's
awkward. It is what it is.
You could have completely went around that part.
I could have, but I try to find a little.
It ruined it for us all.
Yeah,
like that. Like, I think I can write comedy pretty well. Black on Marvel is an actual comedian. The punchline to that one.
But it stars
Jeffrey Tambor is your punchline.
Yeah,
it's a bad setup.
It stars Doug Jones as Abe Sapien and David Hyde Pierce from Frasier fame as the voice of Abe Sapien. Selma Blair, Rupert Evans, Carl Roden, John Hurt.
Did you say Ron Perlman anywhere or not?
I did.
Oh, okay. Maybe I couldn't hear it over.
I'm sorry. Just the fact that the setup and the payoff is Jeffrey Tambor.
You so irritated. You thought it would be you thought you were like Selma Blair is like a way for somebody a little bit more. I'm so bad.
Shit. I was like, I'm like, I don't think I know too many fucking famous people from Wayne State. We would know that in this area. It's Jeffrey Tambor. I'm like, oh shit, dog.
But no, that movie is really, really good. It was, again, Guillermo del Toro's second shot at superhero movies. The movie was good. Unfortunately, the sequel didn't do as well enough to continue it going. And then
still good though, because I really
Golden Army, man. That movie's almost at the point where we can call it underrated. I think we almost got to the point where it's almost underrated. It's not there yet, but it's close.
It's what I like. I like those back to back, but continue.
They'll never get Hellboy right, but who knows?
That's the thing that gets me. You could have just waited and let Guillermo do the third one for what we got with that wet fart of a movie that the David Harbour version.
And honestly, I'm gonna be so honest. I went to the movies to go see that because I like
to quote Tesla, you poor sweet summer child.
I can't remember his name, the Asian guy in that film. I can't remember his name. Saved my life right now. But I love him because he's
Daniel Kim from Lost.
He's in Hawaii Five-0, and that film was like, if you would have removed some stuff and turned some stuff around, it probably could have been a really good film. Like it was a decent.
You say that about every film?
No, It was a decent plot. Some movies are just trash. You throw them away. Dragon Ball Evolution for one, but you.
Oh, we're not bringing that up ever again.
Yeah. So
well, you just took my next one. No, I'm fucking with.
Yeah, I'm like,
you
we're
a dead man.
I'm gonna wrap this up. We're finished.
We're done. We're done for the day.
Have a good day, you guys. That's the Wakanda manga. Like this. Wrap it up. But continue, Tess.
Yeah, so the hope is that they will do a good Hellboy movie, but unfortunately, I don't know how.
At least we got the first one. At least we still got that first.
So technically, I don't know how the deal works. I know that Dark Horse is its own entity, but they've used DC before to do the video games.
I do not give Warner Brothers that much credit.
And that's my concern. So that's what I'm going to say. We only have the first one. We're going to keep the first one and keep it at that because I don't want to ever, now that I'm putting the ethos, I'm going to end up hearing this. We're going to end up hearing about DC doing a Hellboy movie and then I'm going to end up getting incredibly sad and take the episode off. Like, I can't do it.
Let's go like a little faster, guys, because I still got to do lose. Like
yeah.
Her list.
Yeah. Okay. That was my fifth one. So let's go ahead.
So my next one is a 2008 film. Anybody that knows me probably knew this was going to be on this list. It is Cloverfield. I've always loved this movie. I didn't say you. I said other people know me. I've always loved this film. I've talked about this film since it first came out. It's one of those movies where I was just completely entranced by the viral marketing they did for it. I followed as much stuff as I could. It has so many Easter eggs that lead back to a lot of stuff. J.J. Abrams, who was a producer of it, Matthew Vaughn directed it. It's one of those films where it just has so much lore into it, and we've only gotten the one proper Cloverfield film. The Cloverfield Paradox was not a Cloverfield film. It was another film that they just put the name onto it, literally. 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a great psychological horror film, but it's not Cloverfield. I wish we could go back to this universe and see this monster and see what happened, but it's probably one of my favorite monster films of all time, just because it really puts you in the position of not knowing what the hell's happening. And as a lot of films do that, and then they cut away to the monster and then cut back. This one primarily just stays with the people and you're just on the same journey as them. So it's just one of those films I just always loved. Cloverfield. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite ones that decade, hands down. Black Girl Marvel, what is your next movie?
Sorry. My next movie is another Robert Rodriguez film. Obviously, I love him. Obviously.
Clearly.
Yes, I love him. And it's Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Kind of figured.
It to me it had everybody in it that I loved. It was written, produced, all that jazz by mind you, I liked the Mexico trilogy. Like I liked the El Mariachi, Desperado, and then Once Upon a Time. I liked all those. So it just made sense that I would like this one too. But then this one
had Johnny Depp in there before, he got beat up by Amber Heard.
Exactly. Let's not do that. Let's not shame him. Let's not do that. But I'm
not shaming him at all. Just bringing awareness. I'm just bringing awareness to the fact that that she beat a man and kept her job.
No, it was fine. But it had this wasn't like a bad like list of people. It had Antonio Banderas, Salma Hayek, Johnny Depp, Mickey Rourke, Eva Mendes, Danny Trejo, Enrique Iglesias, Cheech Marin, Willem Dafoe. Like it had some
everybody that was Hispanic in Hollywood at that moment, pretty much.
Put them in there.
Everyone else Hispanic and Willem Dafoe.
Let's get them some
and Willem Dafoe.
Everyone Latin in Hollywood. ... And
Willem Dafoe. Hey, and if it was an 80s TV show, when you said and Willem Dafoe, he would have came out the door like
done. But that's one of my favorites.
Oh my god, that creepy ass smile! Oh my god, that'd be funny.
Because I love the scene where like Johnny Depp's character is like blind and he has like
Go ahead, La.
No.
can
sorry,
imagine
La.
him on the I can imagine the Family Matters font.
La's so done with us. I'm go ahead, La. Take your time.
It's a great film. Go ahead, Tess.
Man. Tess, what's your next movie, though?
Okay, my next movie is my next movie is a comic book movie as well. My next movie is Constantine. Constantine.
Not on my list, but good job.
I wasn't
Keanu
gonna pick
film.
that. I knew you were gonna pick that.
Keanu Reeves, Shia LaBeouf. I could never say this man's name correctly.
I know you're talking about.
Diamond Hound 2.
Yeah, thank you. Peter Stormare, Tilda Swinton.
Rachel Weisz?
I forget. Like for the longest time before I got more about watching the movie. Like, that's a chick. Okay. Like, legitimately, I thought it was doing. Like, is that a dude?
He's very ambiguous. Her androgynous.
You just said he's very ambiguous.
No, I didn't. I said she.
You said he. It's not like you said.
I think I cut out, but I said she. I know it.
It's not like you said he. I'm like,
but that's the beauty of it, because sometimes you can't tell.
That movie is
and Snowpiercer. You cannot tell me the person that was a Snowpiercer and the ancient one were the same person. Like, you cannot tell me those are the same person.
That's the thing. The ancient one, they don't really say if. I mean, they probably do, but like,
it was controversy around that. They were like, it's supposed
yeah.
to be
I was like, you hiring a white woman to play that role? Like,
but the movie is great. It was
okay.
It was the first comic book movie to deal with like
that wasn't bad.
It was the first comic book movie to deal with like magic in a way, in the occult. The cat scene still throws me off. The fact that he literally puts his feet in a bucket, holds a cat, and can go to hell. Yeah. That made me more not trust cats anymore.
They are like the guardians of the underworld. It makes perfect sense.
But that still threw me the fuck off. And he will just hold the cat, close the door, and just woke up in hell. Like,
2020.
The scene with Lucifer at the end of the movie was really, really great. Yeah, I like this movie.
He's one of my top Lucifers. Just saying.
He was scary because you didn't know what he was gonna do. That was what it made.
That's the scary part.
Is he gonna kill John, or is he gonna go like the fact that John's on his deathbed and he has to call him in is like,
not even that. He hates John so much that the devil himself was like, I'm gonna come up and take this soul. That's
right.
You are hated in hell so much that the devil was like, hold on, who died? Oh, okay, I'm on my way.
Yeah, I got it. It's good, guys. I got it. This me. I got it.
Yes. Take a rest.
The fact that he's like, you know what? I'm a fight an angel that is now forsaken. And that he's like, looks like your God's forsaken you, and just blows him the fuck away. Then sends his son back. He's like, okay, now that all that's taken care of and I've saved the day, time to get my quarry, and is dragging John's like, oh fuck no, you don't get to go to heaven. I'm making sure your ass stays right the fuck here. Rips out his cancer. Like,
he was so petty. And I love that the devil like that. He was so petty. Like, I'm gonna get you regardless. So
my next one is, if you look at any films if you literally go on any listing of films from the 2000s and you go to underrated films, this film will be in there. It is a 2005 film. It stars Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer. It is called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay.
This movie is the epitome of a gem. Chef's kiss. Huh?
Natalie Portman in that film?
No. It's got Michelle Monaghan. Val Kilmer. It's directed by and written by Shane Black, from Lethal Weapon, Last Boy Scout, and who would go on to do Iron Man 3 with Robert Downey Jr. This was the first film of Robert Downey Jr.'s comeback, because he did this, Scanner Darkly, and then he went into Iron Man. So this was what put him back on the radar.
Wasn't he in Zodiac?
Yeah, but Zodiac was after Iron Man. That was all that. It was all he did. Iron Man, Zodiac, and Tropic Thunder, all like back to back. That's what cemented him being back. But yeah, this film is what started him back. Val Kilmer and Robert Downey Jr. have amazing chemistry. I'm truly surprised that we've never seen them do more stuff together. It is, if you look at Shane Black as a screenwriter, this is probably, in my opinion, his best script after the first Lethal Weapon film. It is great chemistry, funny, natural elements in the comedy to where it doesn't feel like it's just written to be a bit. It's like natural dialogue that just starts to go the course of being funny. You would love it, Black Girl Marvel, because there's a couple characters in the film that constantly try to correct people's proper pronunciation of words in the proper context. And then they use that as jokes because people then get them incorrectly. It is, I honestly say, if you can find Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, it's good. It's actually, and I haven't even talked about the main part, it's actually a noir detective thriller that just so happens to be a great comedy in there. So if you want to see Robert Downey Jr. before he became Iron Man and then became that character, this is one of the films you would want to seek out.
Also, I would like to say that Zodiac came out before Iron Man. I want to throw that out there.
Huh?
Zodiac came out before Iron Man.
When did it come out?
2007.
So 2007, 2008, and then 2008. So the 3 films.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, I think that's because in my mind, I remember Zodiac being like that film that everybody started paying attention to him again, like a little bit more. So that's what I'm just saying. I'm just saying that. But yeah. I don't know what my next one is.
So JayTezla then. No, I'm joking.
I will go with a Tom Cruise film that came out in 2003 that I will always list as one of my favorite films, and that is The Last Samurai. What's up? You okay,
That
Taz?
movie so much.
Why?
Just cultural reasons.
I like it because
I get that.
I liked it because I didn't see any cultural issues wrong with that film. I feel like it was
some people say it's got that white savior thing in there, you know. I don't get it, but some people have said that.
Did he saved them or did they save him? Like, I feel like it was a mutual saving.
I
feel
agree.
like it was a mutual. It's different. This ain't, what's that movie? Dangerous Minds.
Avatar, Dances with Wolves, Pocahontas. I'm sorry.
All that stuff. Like, so it's like, but again, Pocahontas, did she save them? Pocahontas saved her people.
Come on, Tez. You know Avatar is Dances with Wolves, but Smurfs.
Pocahontas, syphilis. We are taking a quick commercial break.
So, because that, so JayTezla, we'll come back to hers when she gets done. JayTezla, what is your next one on your list?
So my next one has cameos by a bunch of different people. I'm gonna name off the cameos. It has Aerosmith, Wyclef Jean, the Black Eyed Peas, RZA, and then Nicole Smith and the Pussycat Dolls. My movie is one of the funniest movies. Be cool. Be cool is one of my Be cool is my shit. Cool, motherfucker. Like, the scene that makes me laugh.
I rocks with you off of picking that, man. I rocks with you off of that one. That's
the scene that makes me laugh the most during that whole film is when Sin and the gang are in the house, and Andre 3000's character, no, fires off the shot and get me too. It's like, my bad. Don't give me no gun. You know what I'm gonna do? Like, I never thought Andre could be funnier. That scene is so damn funny. That movie, that cast is ridiculous. John Travolta, Uma Thurman, Vince Vaughn,
The Rock.
Andre 3000.
You forgot The Rock, baby.
The Rock. Christina Milian, Harvey Keitel, Danny DeVito.
Vince Vaughn's part, hilarious. Man. I will send this to my best friend Brian anytime it comes on TV, where he's trying to make The Rock laugh and he starts breaking. He's like, "Come on, baby, twinkle, twinkle, baby, twinkle, twinkle." You know you my star, twinkle, twinkle, baby.
The fact that Sid is the place for a person in the movie to be. Like, when Sid is literally beating up my man's in the back in the trunk, and his daughter's getting ready to go to school, and all the gates look over like, "Hey, baby." Hey. Like, boom, boom. Be cool. I am cool, motherfucker.
No, the last thing I'll say about that one is when The Rock's trying to like say how good of an actor he is and does a monologue, and then bringing it back to one of my picks, he does an entire scene from Bring It On. both characters the entire scene, and John Travolta has to be like, when a person does a monologue, they usually only do one part. Black or Marvel, what was some more stuff you were saying about The Last Samurai?
Sorry, my mom called.
Oh, hey, that takes mom.
It does. Mom called. But I mean, for me, it was a film where it's like I've always wanted to be in a film where I got immersed in other cultures. So for me, it's like a dream film that I would have loved to be a part of, to learn like samurai culture, to be in that. Like I always like kind of was like jealous of him for that. But I also just like the theme of like somebody coming from a foreign land, learning about another culture, kind of taking that culture on, but not like appropriating it in a way, but finding like a better way, like finding like some peace. And then to me, it was like a bridging of worlds, right? And I've always loved like a bridging of worlds, like because it's like if you marry somebody that's not Black, or if you marry somebody that's not Asian, if you're Asian, it's like you are essentially like that character. You're going into another place, another world, and you are bringing in that culture, but you're not like, you're not appropriating it. And I enjoyed that film. Plus the action was good. I feel like that's one of Tom Cruise's like best like choreographed like films.
Yeah. And his hair in that film, man.
His hair in that film was immaculate. You know what I'm saying?
If I could ever grow my hair out like that and then perm it and then get a beard, like I would do that. I would do that.
All right.
So my next one, I'm gonna start going for heavy hitters right here. My next one is a 2000, and you know what? Let me not. I don't want to. This is either 05 or it's either 05 or 06. In my opinion, it is directed by one of the greatest directors of all time.
Oh, now I'm about to choose.
It is, in my personal opinion, his second greatest film, which probably some people are going to agree with me on that one.
Don't you dare.
It has one of the greatest cast of all time. Anybody that knows me would know that what I'm about to say. It is a acting dick measuring contest. You have
Don't you dare.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, thank God.
Jack Nicholson. Martin Sheen. Mark Wahlberg, who was nominated for an Oscar.
Is this The Departed?
The Departed.
I thought for like a hot second he was going with a different pick, and I'm not gonna say what that is so he can take it. But
that's on my list. That's on my list to pick from, The Departed. So that's nice.
After Goodfellas, the Scorsese's best film to me is The Departed. You got the best out of everybody, and probably is Leo's best role. This was the one he did right before he had to start really going outside the box and really trying to get the Oscar, with The Aviator, with Wolf of Wall Street, with The Revenant. Before he really was like swinging for the fences, this to me is like one of the last great Leo as a great character actor, which he doesn't get enough credit for.
Not even in Django, you wouldn't say that?
Calvin Candy was a cartoonish villain. You know, the memes that have been made from him being in that character.
But I feel like
Calvin Candy was made to get that reaction.
But that's the point of his character, though. I don't feel like anybody else could have played that character like Leo played that character.
No, I agree. I love it. I just think like when you look at Leo's early carer,
you on camera, right?
Yeah. When you look at
when
Leo's
you are
early
behind
career,
me, when you touch any place of the table, Sylvia. Sorry, guys. I had to let my mom know. She just on camera.
You're fine. When you look at Leo's early career before he, like after Titanic, when he really wanted to be known as a serious actor, he started doing stuff like Gangs of New York, The Road, Revolutionary Road. You know, you start doing like really almost character actor type roles to where he really show off his talent. To me, the best of that is The Departed. It is the most Boston film that has ever been created, and it was created by a guy that's from New York. The fact that the opening credit doesn't come until about 17 minutes into the film. You have Matt Damon in one of his best roles. I mean, it's Vera Farmiga as a great acting partner versus both of them in a love triangle. It's a great film. I mean, it's one of those films like when I was having one of my previous jobs, it just happened to come on TV, and I was a bus driver, and it came on in the driver's lounge, and there's probably about 15 to 20 people in there. Everybody's on their phones having outside conversations. Once that movie started, everybody got quiet and everybody started watching it. Like it was just one of those films that everybody just gravitated to because it's just a great film. So The Departed is a benchmark for that early 2000s film for me. Black Girl Marvel, what is your next film?
I wish I could go back and remove The Last Samurai, but I can't. But it's fine. Because I wanted to. Because I
You
wanted
started
to
looking
end.
more on your list.
No. Because I have maybe like 15 or 20 that I picked out just specifically to choose from, and I kind of wanted to do like a trilogy as like my last 3, but I kind of messed that up by saying The Last Samurai. So, but it's okay, and I'm gonna mess it up some more where I can only pick 2 out of the trilogy, so it's fine. But I have to pick this film because this film, I feel like this is a sleeper. Nobody pays attention to this film. This film came out in 2001. It has
Don't mess up like Jeffrey Tambor.
dead. And no, I don't really think people pay attention to this film. To me, this is one of the ones that is like a underrated film. It has Vince Vaughn, John Travolta, and it's called Domestic Disturbance.
Oh, fucking great pick.
Thank you.
That's good. That's a good deep. That's a good deep cut.
I should be adding these points up so I can see how many points I got.
That was a good one. I ain't gonna hold you up. That was a good one because that's one that nobody ever talks about.
Domestic Disturbance was the moment that I think Vince Vaughn was like, I want people to see me as something more than a comedic.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he made that movie.
They know that I can be like a wild and crazy guy, like kind of like that. Like he's like in that vein for me. I swear he's in that vein for me.
Because he was seen as that. He wasn't seen as a serious actor until movies like that.
Into the 70s with that reference, like,
wild and crazy guy.
It's like Vince Vaughn was like, I want to show Hollywood, because I feel like that's the trajectory of every actor, right? An actor comes in doing independent films, it gets them known, and then they start doing like comedic stuff, and people's like, oh, they're hilarious, but then you get known, you get stuck in this trope of being the comedy guy or comedy girl, and then you're like, I want Hollywood to take me serious, so you do like a
ironic
thriller.
Look at Jordan Peele. Look at Ryan Reynolds.
The funny part, after that, Vince Vaughn does Old School, Wedding Crashers,
he does all these other, he do all these other comedic films.
He just said, like, oh, that didn't work, fuck it.
Exactly. But for me, Domestic Disturbance was like one of the greats. Like that was a chilling, menacing film. Like Vince Vaughn played, because like people don't understand, like I don't know if they don't shoot him correctly sometimes. Vince Vaughn is a very large man.
That's a big dude.
He's very tall. So for him to be in this film and the way they shot it, you could see how menacing and big he was, how intimidating he was.
The mom pissed me off in that shit when the kid just straight up came and told her, and she does not believe him. I'm like, but I think I said bitch in the movie. Then I'm like, bitch, like. Really?
But you know what I like about that though? It's a white person doing that, and not a black person doing that, because that's a stereotype that we get, that we don't believe our people.
That wasn't. I think it was right after that scene where you like she didn't believe her, and you knew he was gonna go tell Travolta, so you knew he was gonna come back, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's about to tell his daddy now. It's about to get real. And to me, I love John Travolta in roles where he takes care of family. I feel like that's like some of his best acting, because I guess like he relates it to his own family, like it's like method for him in a way, because Face Off is one of my favorites, and he was protecting his family throughout that whole film, and it was just like really, really good. So Domestic Disturbance, solid film. It's a good pick.
Okay.
JayTezla, what you
got?
So
my next pick is a 2000 film. It helped kick off a genre of historical epics, including The Last Samurai, and it was also it's a movie that has been mentioned in 2 of my favorite rappers' bars. Lupe mentioned it in a freestyle he did where Consider Spaniard were our Rome rappers, and Jay-Z mentioned it as well. It is Ridley Scott's Gladiator.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
I'm gonna get that tattooed on me. Actually, I just gotta figure out.
Are you not? The fact that he went in there was like he was so okay. I'm gonna ignore what she just said.
What did I say? You ignore what he said. Ignore what he said. I didn't say this. Don't put that on me.
If you're gonna get, are you not entertained? That's where you put a tramp stamp.
No,
I mean, let's just be real. You don't have that on. You don't have that on your Achilles.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
We're gonna got a thigh tattoo.
That's not where it's going, but that's crazy. Nobody's
wow.
You have it across.
I'm gonna mute people. I'm gonna mute. I will mute you. But no,
And I will co-host you. Boy, who you
right.
mean?
That movie, I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about him. That movie is amazing. Ridley Scott
that's solid
did that
film.
movie. The casting is
Troy's better.
is it?
It's different. It's not the same
It's
film.
a different movie.
When you think about it,
they're two different
It's not
movies.
the
Troy
same-
is a
it's the
war
same
movie.
film.
This is not a war movie.
But they're
think
talking
about
about two different. But
And
they're
I
doing
think
two
Troy was
different
too
things
long.
though.
they're sword and sandal epics.
I'm dead. If that's the case, then Prince of Egypt is better than both
Right.
of those. Prince
I'm
of
not
Egypt.
disagreeing with you.
And technically,
I'm
didn't
just saying when people put that up
but
there,
no,
I'm like
hold on, wait a minute.
Troy or Gladiator. I'm like, I think Troy is the better film. I
And
think
Troy
it has
came out
better
4
acting.
years later. And it was inspired because Gladiator created
Gladiator.
a period of historical pieces movies. Like you
If
want to
that's
see
the case,
movies
then
like
300 better. No.
yeah, but like The Last Samurai, Troy, King Arthur, Robin Hood,
Girl.
all these movies. Hell, the scene in I hate even bringing this movie up. The scene in Attack of the Clones where they have the gladiator scene that is directly inspired by Gladiators, the movie, and the actual fights.
I'm saying Gladiator is a good film.
Russell Crowe, solid.
If they're both on a shelf and I'm in the mood for a sword and sandal epic, I'm gonna go with Brad Pitt over Russell
But here's the
Crowe.
thing, Joaquin Phoenix was a great villain in that movie. But if you had told me if you had told me that when that movie came out, I was like, yeah, in about 19 years he'll be playing a Joker character.
A version of Joker. You'd been like, what? This dude?
This don't make no goddamn sense. And then you'd
Like,
be like,
no, what you would have said is they gonna be making Batman films?
I'm dead.
But
I'm just
Gladiator,
saying, nobody saw that shit coming 20 years ago.
Gladiator
Like, he
is
did
my
Mr.
number
Freeze.
3 on my list.
Nice.
I stand since time.
I'm not mad
I
at
like
that.
that. That's a good pick.
Fuck it, Iron Man.
I figured you were gonna pick it eventually.
Yeah, I was trying to wait, but yeah, it's Iron Man. I mean,
I was gonna take it
started
because I knew it was on your list, but I changed my mind. I was like, I ain't gonna do it.
I appreciate that, Lashana. Thank you.
No problem.
What more is to be said about this film that hasn't already has been said on this podcast multiple times is we started the MCU. I will take that. It's a movie. I've said it with a lot of films since we've been doing this list, but I can throw that film on right now and just have a good time and still laugh, still be amazed at the technology, at the CGI that is still great. I love that film. So, Black Hole Marvel. What's your next one?
Since I can't say a full trilogy because that's my fault, I will go with the first.
How do you mess it up and it's your list? It's your list. How did you do that?
Because in my brain, I was like, when did that movie come out? Because somebody mentioned Vince Vaughn or something like that, and I was like, when did that movie come out? And I was like, yo, that came out in 2001. I can say that movie. So
that's what I love about these lists, because just hearing something like, hell, I love The Italian Job, and I completely forgot about that until I just spoke about 20 minutes ago. I'm like, damn, I could have put that in my honorable mentions. I could have took something out. That's what I love about these lists, because it really just makes you remember all the great films you love.
So my second to last pick is Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl.
That's the first one, right?
Yes, that is the first one in the trilogy. I don't count the other ones, no offense. Even though I didn't have a problem with On Stranger Tides and all that kind of jazz, but I stick with the trilogy.
I'm with you on that.
But Curse of the Black Pearl, for me, when that film came out, it was like a change in how they do films for some reason. For me, it was like Jerry Bruckheimer has to be one of the greatest. To have ever
doesn't get his flowers as much.
Never. But why is the rum gone? Why is the rum gone?
He's one of
they smack him. I didn't deserve that. I probably deserved that.
I may have deserved that one. Also, you got like a little baby cameo from Zoe Saldana.
That's right. She is in that movie.
She's in that first one, and I
was rewatching that. And I saw. I'm like, damn, I forgot she was in.
I really felt like they were going to do something with her character, but then her star kind of took off, and they couldn't.
I don't need to be a side character. I'm
You
a
feel
whore in
me?
Star Trek.
You feel me? So I feel like they, they were going to do something with her character, because you don't give somebody like that a couple of lines in a film. Like you just don't without them going to do something.
It's funny that she left a Disney movie, went to go do Star Trek, and then came back and did
Back to
another Disney movie.
Exactly. Disney was like,
She left one
Disney-
Disney series, did a movie, then came back and did another Disney series.
No, because Disney was like, yo, we really wanted to do something, but we got this other gig. You think you wanna? It's lead.
Like, it's real low key.
Something you can sink your teeth into.
You know what I'm saying? Makeup.
Small project, nothing too big.
You may have to be green for 20 hours of the day though.
And then Disney was like, oh yeah, and we want to offer you like a six contract deal, 6-film deal. Like
small, small movies.
We're not thinking big money. We'll give you a little bit off of the box office. We're hoping these films are successful, but you never know.
Exactly, but you never know.
Small movies in game, you never know.
You never know. But Curse of the Black Pearl is like, to me, it was like a turn in how they do films, and how they do like period piece films, and how they do the comedy within that. For me, I think this role was made for Johnny Depp. Like, it
still has one of the scariest scenes in movies, though.
What scene?
The scene
where they're walking in the water.
Yeah, that was like, you know what? That's the reason I don't fuck with zombies, because they can always do that shit.
That's actually the scene that sold, because it was in the trailer. That's what sold me to go see the film. That's why I saw that. I'm like, yo, this is wild. I'm gonna go check this out. They already had my mic from Johnny Depp, but still, when I saw that, I'm like, I'm in.
And it was a star turn. It was a star turn for Orlando Bloom and can't remember her
Natalie
name.
Portman. I'm sorry, Keira
That
Knightley.
is stop it.
You sucked it.
They do. No, they even
Star
get
Wars,
that.
stop it. Because of Star Wars, stop it.
No, you know what's funny? Real quick, I did not know that until I rewatched that film years ago.
I knew
wait
it.
a second.
I'm
like, is that Natalie or Keira? And I'm like,
no,
shit, that is Keira.
I remember watching that. I remember going to the movies and watching that film. And watching the scene where she's in front of like the ambassadors or whatever it was, and they're like switched. And I remember looking at Keira Knightley and being like, yo, something's off. I was like, something's wrong.
Exactly. Here.
And I have a tendency when I watch films to look in the background anyway, because some of the most interesting stuff happens in the background and people don't pay attention to that. Like, they might pay attention like fifth time watching the film. And I have a tendency to just kind of like glance. And I looked in the back and I was like, I leaned in, I was like, yo, Natalie Portman behind her, bro. I was like, she behind her.
The person was like,
it's funny. It's funny
know,
the
right?
character is
Like,
behind me, but in Far From Home, you kind of see that same thing too. Because
I just watched
what's name is behind him the entire time in the airport, and I'm like,
freaked the shit out of me.
That
I did not realize that Mysterio is behind him. I did not realize that.
I didn't notice. Listen, I didn't notice Mysterio. Like, I didn't notice Jake Gyllenhaal, but I noticed the other people. I remember watching this movie. And was like, yo, that's old girl from when they was in the okay, maybe. And part of me was like,
I saw the thumbnail of it, and I'm like, oh, that's bullshit, that's fake. And then they ran the scene. I'm like, shit.
Part of me was
because your focus isn't on him, your focus is on Tom.
Again, but I was like,
they play that very well.
I'm like, that's old girl, that's old dude. And a part of me was just like, well, maybe they had budget issues, they just needed extra. It
is a Sony film, you know.
You feel me? Like, they needed some, you know.
One of my favorite things about that, real quick, because you know, small tangent. You know how he fakes everything in the scene where he's talking to Peter on the ledge, and you see him fly up. You know that it's not him. You know it's a hologram because he can't fly. The way they shoot that film tells you what happened. If you look in the background, there's a door that's open, and the way the camera tracks on the Peter, it looks like somebody's walking behind him. So he actually was walking behind him as the camera tracks, sits down on the ledge, and that's when the Mysterio hologram comes down, and he's physically next to Peter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I didn't even pay attention until the third time I saw the way the camera, I'm like, it's a weird tracking motion. I'm like,
the whole movie is like, Far From Home is like a whole optical illusion, if you really pay attention.
And it just plays with you so much. It is. That's a great
Pirates of the Caribbean. It was funny, it was great, and I loved it.
So, okay, remind me real quick. Curse of the Black Pearl. What's the
Dead
second one?
Man's Chest
Dead Man's Chest and At World's End.
at World's End.
I think I like Dead Man's Chest the best, man. Davy Jones, man.
Davy Jones,
That's
Bill Nighy as a he was
That's a
solid
that's a
actor.
villain that don't get mentioned enough too, because he had 2 films and he was good in both of them. And that CGI still looks
That's
good.
the thing, though. He wasn't really.
That's
He wasn't really
excellent
the
CGI.
villain in the third one. The villain was
Second one.
Yeah.
overall the Brits.
They kind of did a Thanos where they gave you a great film of the villain, and then the next film he's kind of like
No,
a
you talking about the
secondary
third one, Tez. At World's End, the British are the villains. In Dead Man's Chest, Davy Jones.
That's what I'm
is the
saying.
villain.
Like I'm saying, David Jones was the villain in the second one, but he was not the villain in the third one.
He was
That's
in
what we're
there,
talking
but he
about, though.
he wasn't the primary antagonist in the third
Yeah.
one.
No,
He
not
was
the
like more
third
of a
one.
background.
Not the third
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
he was like a secondary.
And I
antagonist.
do love the
being,
ending.
he was
I do love
being
the ending of that
manipulated,
film
though.
too.
He was being manipulated though. The whole
Yeah.
like the third film, he was being
I love the
manipulated.
ending of that film too. With that one when Jeffrey West comes down. So, how's my boat? They're like, what the fuck's going on? Like,
That's one of my favorite scenes because and that's the end of the Curse of the Black Pearl. That's my favorite. I mean, the second one because the crew, the cast, everybody, Orlando, Kier, none of them knew he was coming back. They took that out of the script.
Oh,
So
really?
So all they got was like they're in scene. So when you hear his boots clink and everybody looks over,
shit.
that's everybody confused in the scene, like what's happening. And then when they see him, everybody's reaction
I'll be
is
watching
genuine.
that shit tonight.
Everybody's reaction is genuine because they didn't know he was back in the movie. They didn't know. They kept it
That's
secret.
hot. I fucks with that.
So how many
All right.
cameras did they have in that scene? Because they individually shot each person looking at him.
They probably just had multiple cameras and shit.
Those
just get
movies
tracking
have multiple cameras around. They got multiple.
I'm just saying that was if that's the case, then that's a great way of doing it. Like we have multiple cameras in the room. Why?
Damn,
don't worry about it. Just wait.
See, if I was a director, I constantly fuck with my actors like that to get a natural reaction. They would hate me.
But you would take.
I'm doing tracking
shots
shots and reaction shit.
You would take stuff out of the script though, because the fact that they didn't know just made the scene even better because it was just like they were like shocked that the guy that the actor was back.
Bloom's face is like he's like the fuck's going on.
Yeah, exactly. You can, and if you now with this information, if you go back and watch it, you're going to see that scene totally different now.
I'm gonna send you that in a Facebook Messenger in like an hour. My second to last one.
Did I go?
Oh wait, yeah, it's yours.
No, Tez didn't.
No, wait, I got mixed up from the last one. Just
No, I feel you.
My second to last one is one of my favorite anime movies of all time, and that is Knocking on Heaven's Door, aka Cowboy Bebop the movie.
Okay.
One of the best animated movies of all time. The animation was done by Bones, who currently does My Hero Academia and a bunch of other anime that you probably love. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That's on my list to watch. Actually.
If you don't watch anything from that movie, the one thing you should watch from that movie that is paramount to anything is the last fight scene, because that felt like a Marvel movie. It felt like watching a Marvel movie, like how it was shot. Like it was shot so well. Like they have like this Eiffel Tower, which is on Mars, and the main character is fighting the villain who is better at him in hand-to-hand combat. And it's like the jazz pieces in this movie, the Arabic tones, all that kind of stuff is amazing.
I am not surprised you picked that.
I dig it.
Actually, I dig it. I fucks with it.
I dig it.
My second to last one is in my top 3 favorite comedies of all time. It is a 2005 film. It has Jane Lynch, it has Jane Lynch, Romney Malco, Seth Rogen, Steve Carell, Kat Dennings. It is directed by Judd Apatow. It is the 40-year-old version.
That was on my list too.
It is a movie. I'll say this is probably only the second film I can remember that I ever listened to the cast and director's commentary on that film. I've watched every version of that film. I've watched the theatrical cut. I've watched the unrated cut that had stuff they had to cut out. I've had the director's commentary, the cast commentary, everything. I've soaked up everything they put out for that film because it is so funny. It is probably my favorite cast commentary of all time because they all just start telling stories and cracking jokes on each other. Because the cast commentary is Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd, Jane Lynch, Romney Malco, the other guy, the one, Aziz, the Middle Eastern character, he's in there on the cast commentary. It just them telling stories about each other and just telling something. It makes you laugh. It is just that alone is funny. But the fact that the film is only probably like 60% of the script and the rest of them is just riffing off of each other. I mean, it launched Steve Carell's career because it was after that he got The Office and then became Steve Carell proper. You know, it's just one of those films that is just so funny and really actually is kind of sweet because Andy is a very sweet character. He's a character that really wasn't trying to have sex. His friends were pushing him to have sex because he was 40 years old and was a virgin. And he really just wanted to fall in love with somebody, which if you take out all the raunchy stuff, it's a really sweet romantic comedy. And then when you put that stuff in there, it's just one of the funniest films that's ever been made.
Kelly Clarkson.
And to find out that film was actually, that part was real. That was his real chest hair. And he said, Judd Apatow, he's like, I will do this. I will do it once. Get as many cameras as you can and film it. And everyone's reaction, Romney, Paul, and Seth's reaction, that coming off is real. And when Romney Malco says, all right, I'm done, and walks off, that's not the character. That's Romney Malco saying he can't watch that shit anymore. Sorry. Black Girl Marvel, what is your next one?
This was the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hearing that echo again. My last one is a continuation. We pretty much already talked about it. It's Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest.
Motherfucker. Really? Really? So you just let us talk about the film.
Yeah. Yeah. Why would I stop? Because y'all probably would have been some ridiculous people, and I'd be like, no, that's my last one, and then y'all would have talked about it. Like somebody would have like snatched it just because.
What's up with your homegirl, man? She just let us ramble on about the fucking movie, knowing it was next.
Yeah,
as she has done before in many episodes and on the chat. Nobody's smart but me.
Exactly. But that's my last one. I wanted it to be the trilogy. I wanted to end with like at World's End, but I love Dead Man's Chest. To me, it has some of the best cinematography out of those films. Character development is on par in the second one.
Will Turner became a badass.
But to see Will Turner go from like this blacksmith to the pirate that he was like born to be, and then for Elizabeth, I can't stand her. I could do a whole podcast about how she is literally the kiss of death. Every dude she kissed in that film died.
She was really one of those characters like, you know what? Maybe people would be better off if you weren't in their life.
Exactly.
Like, you kind of bring a lot of shit with you. Bring some baggage.
And also, I feel like she was like a Mary Sue for me, and I feel like they tried to change that in the last one by making her like the Pirate King, and I was just like,
oh okay. God, they did even worse.
I was like, all right.
I remember people groan when they did that part in the third one in the theater I was in. People were groaning. It was like, I can be a part. I'm like, bro, like we've seen you in 2 movies. Like this ain't it. This ain't it, Chief. This is before This Ain't It, Chief was a thing, but it was This Ain't It, Chief.
But Dead Man's Chest has one of my favorite scenes is when Orlando Bloom's Will Turner dies and Johnny Depp saves Keira Knightley. They fly off and then the Black Pearl comes to pick them up. But it's like to me, Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow is like the captain. It's like the Caribbean's Batman. It's like he always thinks a few steps ahead.
Which is something they really don't give that character a lot of credit. They just think he's all eccentric. I'm like, no, he's actually smart as shit.
He's playing chess and everybody's playing checkers. Like that's the way I see it. And you find out that like even though he gave up immortality and he really wanted it, he cared about Will Turner and he knew Will would come back and help them win. against everybody. But to me, I'm just because I think he's attractive. When Will came back with the do-rag and his hair was down, I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, okay. That I actually said, I'm like, that's how a pirate's supposed to look.
Exactly. Because he had
that's how a pirate's
and it was like
I'm sorry with the scarves and shit. That's how a pirate.
And it was like a thick bandana over the head with the hair down. He had like it was very like, you know,
that Dr. Miami V cut.
Yeah, it's like it was like, listen here. Not only are you attractive, sir, but I approve this scene. Huh? I approve it. So, yes. But just remember, it's the trilogy in my thing. And I know they had two more.
I'm not mad.
They had two more films that
we don't talk about those.
And honestly, they're about to have two more films. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh wait, you're taking out what movie are you taking out for your?
I didn't. If you were paying attention instead of watching the game, I didn't say I was taking out anything. I was just explaining that after the trilogy, they end up having two more films, and then they're about to have two more films.
No, I'm saying you were originally planning on having the trilogy in your top 3.
Yeah, I was going to take out The Last Samurai, but I didn't do it. I still have it. My list stays the same, but yeah.
Okay, so my number 1, I'm going to start the way I'm going to finish the way I started.
You want to start that over again?
Exactly.
Yeah, no. I'm pulling a 0. I'm channeling 0 with that. I'm sorry. I'm going to end the way I started. Mine is based off of a
Oh shit! I'm sorry, man. You served that shit up on a silver platter for me. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna go back and hear this and then be like, oh shit. Yeah, I done goofed.
Hey man, you know what? That's the stinger. That's the reel right there. That's our reel. We need something for 30 seconds.
Yep. This is the stinger right here, Mark. Right here,
that's the title of this moment. That's the title of this episode. That's the goof. The top.
I done goofed. So I'm going to finish the way I started. My last pick is my favorite film. It is based off the book. It is a
Truth by Sapphire.
No, wow. It is a Christopher Nolan film. It is The Prestige.
I almost put that on my list because I knew one of y'all was gonna have that.
I knew somebody was gonna pick that. I'm like, I'm not even gonna do it.
That is one of my favorite movies from beginning to end. The cast: Christopher Bale, Hugh Jackman, Michael Caine, Piper Perabo, Rebecca Hall, Scarlett Johansson, David fucking Bowie, Andy Serkis, Ricky Jay, Robert Reese, Morgan Shepherd, and Daniel Davis. This movie was so damn good because you did not know who was the good guy and who was the bad guy, and neither of them were good or bad guys. Like, they both just hate each other. And the first scene, like because you really don't know who was responsible for the death, and then how that splits off into this game.
Spoiler alert.
Come on now. This movie came out.
Saying, hey, there are some people who may not see. Hey, one of the things is we're suggesting these films so people can go see it.
This movie came out in 2006.
If you don't want to know if you don't want to know what happens in The Prestige, skip ahead 45 seconds.
Okay, so two things. This movie came out in 2006, so it's a minute. It's been a minute. Secondly, this movie also came around at the same time as The Illusionist, so people might not have seen it, and that was a big thing with this movie. It was kind of like a hidden gem almost.
I always forget about The Illusionist.
In all honesty, this is one of Andy Serkis's few human roles in a movie, and he was really, really good in it. David Bowie was amazing in it. So David Bowie didn't have a lot of acting credits on his resume, but
he's a good actor though.
But the scene where he walks up and he's walking through the electricity, I'm like, oh,
that is how you introduce a character.
That shot right there is the epitome of David Bowie as a human. Like
that's real. That's a real statement. Right?
I think David Bowie. I think two humans that could be almost described as alien in nature are David Bowie and Freddie Mercury. And the way he looked in that shot was like, he's not human.
You really missed the ball saying Michael Jackson on that one.
I'm just saying, like Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson, we saw him as a kid growing up. So there was like, you saw him. We didn't see David Bowie and Freddie Mercury growing up. We just saw them, they popped on the scene and they were like, hi, I'm here. And then just destroyed everything. but the movies were great from beginning to end. That movie is amazing. That is one of Christopher Nolan's best works. I don't think he's lived up to that work until Inception came out. Like, I think if I were to rank, if I were to
Do
rank,
you not know a film called The Dark Knight?
I'm just
Boy, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Let me finish.
Got close. Back up. You scaring me. Back up.
To me, in my top three,
I'm gonna cut
it would go The Prestige, Inception, then Tenet, then The Dark Knight.
Have you seen Tenet?
I have seen Tenet.
Okay, because I'm like, don't be claiming a movie you ain't never saw. But no,
Tenet is. I think Tenet is better than The Dark Knight. There are. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. I'm not gonna spoil it. Don't worry. There are faults in The Dark Knight I can't forgive compared to the Tenet. Tenet's biggest issue is sound design, but that can be forgiven compared to.
On another episode, we need to talk about these faults so that I can clear them up for you because I'm sure they're not faults. So, but continue.
The Prestige to me is one of the best.
I was gonna watch that today too.
One of the best movies. It's definitely a movie you should watch. Anyone that's listening to this or watching this, it's a movie right now you should be watching as a general fan. Like, I can see you probably
if you are a Batman and Wolverine fan, you need to watch this film.
If you're a fan of film in general, you need to watch this film.
Okay.
If you're a Black Widow fan, you should be watching this film.
True.
If you're a Black Widow, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan.
If you are a Covert Affairs fan, you need to watch this film.
Facts.
Okay. Thank you.
If
that was my show back in the day, bro.
This is an amazing film. I definitely highly recommend this.
You see what you did, Morty? You prestige yourself. I've been waiting. I was waiting for him to stop talking so I can hit that stinger.
Legitimately, that ending scene where they showed that, I was like, oh, now it makes sense.
It's a mind fuck. That is a mind fuck.
He lost his mind in that moment. He was.
I don't care. The Dark Knight. I don't care. It's The Dark Knight. Fuck all y'all. I love it. Best Batman film ever. It's my favorite film ever. It is a film that I've described to people as, I've heard people say, oh, it's a comic book film. I'm like, if you take Batman out of that film, it is a damn good crime thriller. It is a great film, and it just so happens to have Batman.
But here's the thing about
it go.
But see,
if you take Batman out of that, and then you just have Gordon trying to go against the mob, and then you have a righteous DA that then gets turned evil, like that's just a great film. And then, oh yeah, by the way, it just so happens to have the second best interpretation of Batman that's been on film. And the only detective work he did in all three of those films too.
Gordon would have died without that.
I will say this.
Don't be doing Jim Gordon like that.
That movie would have been over.
I'm quite sure Kayos has seen this, but there was an interview that Michael Jai White did with Collider, where he talked about Heath Ledger's dedication to the role.
Yeah, we've all seen that.
Yeah, but I've just now seen. Wow, that was just like dismissive, but okay. Anyway, I think the movie
You dismissed me first. I'm sure Kayos has seen this.
Continue, Tesla. She's just mad because he's not talking about Planetary, but continue.
But
not a good pick, but okay.
But no, the movie.
I agree.
The movie is good. I do think there are faults with the movie, but the movie is good for. It set a standard of what superhero movies should be, and then it got shitted on by Winter Soldier, and then Endgame, and then Infinity War.
The main reason that it did quote unquote shit on is because you already had that long cinematic universe.
Right, you can't hit like Winter Soldier.
Exactly. I mean, Winter Soldier has the build up from Captain America, the First Avenger, and from Avengers. You know, and from you have those. You already knew Nick Fury as a character. We all fucking knew Bucky was gonna come back. We knew who the fuck he was, but you knew that shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just the annoying part. I'm like,
I will say this. I will
say it was funny. It was funny. My mom saw the film and she's like, "Wait, is that his friend?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you're not initiated this was a surprise for me. I envy.
Same thing with my mom.
I just looked over. I'm like,
but here's the thing, though. Like,
really? You didn't know? You didn't get that was okay? Maybe it's I'm an elitist.
Coming from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight, it was such a left turn because you didn't see like you watch Batman Begins, you're like, oh, this is just a stereotypical superhero movie, and then you watch The Dark Knight, you're like, huh. So he just took a superhero movie and made it completely fucking different.
That film to me is.
Did he though? He just made it darker. I feel like it was darker than Batman.
I mean, the way it's shot is way different from a superhero movie.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was getting to. The IMAX part of it really does. That was the first film that really embraced shooting IMAX, which even if you're not seeing it on an IMAX screen, just seeing the aspect ratio of it just makes you feel that's a little different. The first scene of the film is shot in IMAX.
Because hell, when have we ever seen a superhero movie? Really, any movie, really, go the whole fucking film and not show the title card.
That's what I love because I hate end credits and I hate end credits and long title sequences.
We didn't need it.
You're ruining the film. I mean, it takes you out.
Batman v Superman. We didn't need it. So
I'm not going to be triggered. But
we didn't need that film.
Then you have the intro of the Joker is.
It was a double.
It's been said 1,000 times, but it's damn near perfect. I mean. The way that Heath Ledger just plays around before he actually takes the mask off, you see his mannerisms. You have good acting and a really good bit role from William Fichtner. You have the fact that you know from just that one scene, this is not the same Joker. This is not Jack's Joker. This guy is a meticulous genius that actually pinpointed to the second of when the bus was going to come through the wall and shot the guy right after that. And then gets in line with another bunch of buses and nobody recognizes it. Like it's just a great film. And I was in a conversation the other day about Christian Bale's Batman. I'm like, I have become a Ben Affleck Batman guy because that to me just feels most comic book accurate. But Christian Bale did a great job as Batman. I think he actually personally did a better job as Bruce Wayne in that film. When he's Bruce Wayne, I think he does better work as the character. Like we said before, that the mask is really Bruce Wayne. When you have that scene in the dinner scene where it's him, his date, it's Maggie Gyllenhaal, and you have Aaron Eckhart, when you see them just acting versus each other, and you can tell all that rage is still kind of under Bruce because he's like, this is the woman I love. I should beat the shit out of you right now, but I have to be nice to you. By the way, I agree with your philosophy. And I agree with the fact that you don't want me to be the Batman. You want me to be better and you want to do that job. And I like you for that. And you see him being conflicted, like, this guy's actually a really good guy.
My only issue with that movie, I hear the echo too now, is that I feel as though that movie gave DC the right to put their movies in the hole they're in now. From the standpoint of, they're like, you know what? The Dark Knight was seen no, not even that. The Dark Knight was such a hit that fuck any of our other characters, fuck a Wonder Woman or Aquaman or all other shit. Let's just focus on Joker, Batman, and Superman.
I agree, and I think
that's my only true gripe with that film.
But that's where that shouldn't be a gripe on that film. That should just be a gripe on DC. You know, like
it's not even that.
You can't be mad at a film for inspiring some dumbness out of these people, but just because my whole thing is
you're both making points. It's like I have one on this shoulder and the other one on this shoulder. Like I agree with both of you.
But it's like, for me, it's like DC's issue is, like, you don't give credit to your other characters, and that's where Marvel wins for me. That's what Marvel wins.
You have turn this into part 17 other than shitting on DC. Welcome, guys. You have
great villains. Batman has great villains other than the Joker.
Last time I was shitting on DC, we talked about the Johnny Depp situation. and then Amber Heard.
But even then, let's talk about Warner real quick. How they did that Animaniacs thing about Johnny Depp. I was like, for real, Warner? Like,
is that in the first episode or the second episode? Because I saw the first.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They knew him about Johnny Depp.
Did you see the thing I put in the group chat?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Yeah, I saw that, but I didn't see it.
Maybe the podcast group chat. I'm telling in on IG.
No, I believe you. I'm just saying. I watched the first episode of the Animaniacs.
Hold on. Whoa.
I'm talking to Chaz. I was talking to you. I know
so you just had an issue with Johnny Depp, and you make fun of him on your TV show.
Yep. It was like Johnny's Tears Part 2 or something weird. Like,
they threw a legit. So you don't pay attention to the group chat, I take it.
Unless somebody doing TikToks. Hey, next time I post something, you pay attention to it.
Oh shit. Oh,
okay,
shit.
First of all,
let's end it on that one.
First of all, touche. Secondly,
yeah. They honestly took a legit dig at him, and there's no way this was not approved by somebody and thought out ahead of time. And the fact that they're still in this ongoing trial, that is completely wrong. It's disrespectful.
I said Warner, for real, Warner?
It's wrong, man. It's
all right, but let me get to Lou's list before we go off on a tangent.
I know, or we could just leave it and have her and Mark do theirs.
No, we gonna mention Lou because Lou
was gonna be here, but she had some stuff, and we said we were gonna do it. So let's just I'm gonna.
And she sent it over. She put the time in.
Right, she put the time in. So let me knock these out. She said these are in no particular order because honestly, this decade sucked to me. That's her. I'm literally reading her words.
We take it.
Oh, now fuck her list now.
That she said, remember the Titans, one of my favorite movies ever. Denzel is great. I be in my feels. How high? LOL. Because duh.
That was gonna be on my fuking list.
Plus that movie is funny AF, and I love
Red and Meth.
Get him.
Exactly. She said Pootie Tang. You gotta see the bad movies to know the good ones, but Pootie is my man, and I love him. She said Rent. Rent is one of my favorite musicals, and I love the movie version too. I'm with her on that one. That was solid.
A solid movie.
She said Idiocracy is like a peek into our future if we had another 4 years, like the last 4 years.
Damn,
that's a kind of good point. That's a good point.
Come on.
That's a good pick.
Ain't it? Come on, Lou. Come through, Lou. I will say we're going to get some. It's 2 on her list that I would have knocked her out quick. It was Remember the Titans and another one coming up soon. Zack and Miri Make a Porno. This movie is funny. You forgot about that movie, bro? My God, this movie is funny as hell. I love it. I don't let my coffee. She said I don't let my coffee shop put my cup on the counter anymore because of this movie. She irritated.
Zack and Miri, dog.
How did you forget? We talked about that. I swear we talked about that.
We just talked about that.
Meet the Parents. Yeah. De Niro is one of my absolute favorite actors ever. He's effing hilarious in this, and this is one of Ben Stiller's best.
A bit. Fucker.
She said Collateral. I'm not the biggest TC fan, and that's Tom Cruise, but this was a great movie and very well acted by Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that was one of Jamie Foxx's first serious roles too.
But that was like the movie that made people be like,
that was his movie.
That was the movie
because he did that and Ray back to back. I'm like,
back to back. Because Any Given Sunday was when they was like, he can.
But he ain't just funny.
He was kind of funny in that though.
No. That's what he's saying. Like they were
he's funny, but he can act. Like Stephen Will Beeman is a good character.
And I think Any Given Sunday was what made people pay attention, and then Collateral was like they were like, yo.
Honestly, that's when I did it because I love Any Given Sunday. And when I saw Collateral, I'm like, all right, Jamie.
She said Iron Man. Wasn't expecting Iron Man to start one of the greatest franchises ever, but here we are, and RDJ is Zaddy, and she is correct on that. And her 10th one is Role Models. Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott are perfect in this movie, but the cast is effing hilarious and amazing. A great comedy. I obviously love stoner films, but this is just good though.
Clearly.
LOL. And her honorable mentions.
That's a good pick.
Her honorable mentions was Sex Drive. And one of my favorite films that I end up buying like in a aluminum case because I love it so much, Serenity. Serenity. Oh my
How
God.
the fuck did I forget Serenity?
I
did you,
knew
sir?
one of you was going to say that, so I made sure I did not put them. I'm like, there's no way I'm on a podcast with 4 other nerds.
We just talked about the
nobody
girl that was
mentions
in Serenity, didn't we?
Summer Glau. We just talked about it's
No, not her,
Firefly,
not her.
Gina Torres.
Gina Torres.
Gina Torres.
Yeah,
exactly.
she
I'm
can
like,
do
there's
anything.
no way with this
Beautiful.
5 of us on here and nobody mentions Serenity. Come
Y'all
on,
know
y'all
know she was married to Lawrence Fishburne. Before Lawrence Fishburne let her go, I was like, what, bro?
Wait, they divorced?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know that part. Damn.
That nigga said, I'm about to make Marvel money. Fuck you.
You making that Blackish money. Wow, that sounded way
I know that sounded
that
real.
really did sound real racist. Let's end it here. Because you know this is the 45 episode.
Funny.
Go ahead.
This
Chaos,
is the Trump episode, so you might as well end it on a racist joke.
Yeah, let's
go ahead, wrap it up. Yes. Wrap it up, Chaos.
It's huge. It's huge.
Shut up.
I'd like to thank my 2 co-hosts for being with me today for this great list that we've been talking about for a while. We got to it before the end of the year. Congrats to us. We got that out. Shouts out to Zero. Shouts out to Big Louie. And that's why we'll call you until you're on the show to dispute it.
She's going to murder you.
I want all the smoke. Thank you to
live, we're gonna move out the way when
this
happens. Just move out the way.
JayTezla, why don't you tell people where they can find you at?
You can find me on the sidewalk watching Lou destroy chaos in the building.
And I'm gonna have my arm on his shoulder just like that. I'm be like,
you know, dog walk his ass.
I'm be like, you are not degeneration X. Stop it.
She gonna Mars Simpson him in the middle of the street. But you can find me at JayTezla. I have an announcement I'm gonna put on my Instagram soon, so be on the lookout for that.
Ooh.
Black Girl Marvel, where can people find you?
I don't know what he said.
Everyone can find me on all social media platforms at Black Girl Marvel. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, IG. I'm currently working. I'm currently working on a setup for like an animated thing that I'm working on with somebody special who's a part of this podcast. I want everybody to be on the lookout for an episode coming this Friday, and hopefully I get to talk about my Bleach film with JayTezla soon. So stay tuned.
Snaps. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. That's Team Kayos, Kayos. You can find me in the Wakinda Black Nerdcast. This page is on YouTube, and you can find me at Kyle J. Campbell on Facebook. You can also find this podcast on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and comment. Also, wherever you find a podcast at, whether it be Apple, Anchor, Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Stitcher, if you name it, we're probably on there. And if you can't find us there, let us know. Let us know. We appreciate you taking time to listen to us. We hope everybody's having a happy and safe holiday. Get through 2020 the best way you can. Wear a mask, keep social distancing, stay with it, and we will get through this. Yes. I've been Kayos. They've been awesome. You've been great. Thank you.
Love you, Steve.